Yeah, deep-rooted conversations, real talk, real roots, real us, souls. Soft rain, no middleman between the truth. I can see it in your eyes, you got it. Pain got your heart moving cautious. Different worlds but the same kind of scars here. Different roads but somehow we still crossed it. Mad cause the world never listened right. Mad cause your truth always turned.
Disclaimer: this broadcast is intended for commentary, discussion, and entertainment purposes only. All topics and statements are based on publicly available information, including news reports, social media content, and third-party sources, which may include allegations or unverified claims. The views expressed are opinions and should not be interpreted as confirmed facts. This content is not intended to harm, defame, misrepresent any individual, organization, or entity. Viewer discretion is advised.
Why not hand over the phone? Everybody say they want the truth, till the truth starts knocking at their door. Everybody say they want the evidence, so tell me, what are we waiting for? We searched the water, searched the boat, played every interview quote for quote, pointed fingers, called out names. Everybody got somebody they blame. Every timeline under attack, every statement running back. If we turning every stone we own, then somebody tell me, why not the phone? Why not hand over the phone? If we're searching for answers, leave nothing alone. Maybe there's something, maybe there's not, but how will we know if it's never unlocked? Don't pick a side, just follow what's known. Truth don't belong to a side of its own. If everything matters when answers are gone, why not hand over the phone? Concern can't change with the person involved. Same questions apply if we want this solved. Can't demand receipts from everyone else, then put certain evidence back on the shelf. Messages, calls, locations, time could mean nothing or change the timeline. That ain't guilt and that ain't proof. It's one more place to search for truth. We don't convict from what we assume. We don't make a courtroom out of a room. But if we're asking what happened that night, every relevant fact deserves the light. No mob, no sides, no verdict before it's time. No rumors, no spin. Let the evidence speak again. If the answer is there, let the answer be known. If there's nothing there, let the facts show. But don't tell me we're turning every stone. Why leave it one alone? Why not hand over the phone? If we're searching for answers, leave nothing alone. Maybe there's something, maybe there's not, but how will we know if it's never unlocked? Don't pick a side, just follow what's known. Truth don't belong to a side of its own. If everything matters when answers are gone, why not hand over the phone? One question doesn't make an accusation. One question doesn't prove a crime. But if we really want the truth, we can't only ask questions when we already like the answers. Same soil, different rules, different perspectives, same standard. So tonight, are we really concerned? And if we are, why not hand over the phone?
Everybody keeps saying the same thing. If you really care about Nolan, then you should want answers. And I agree. But concern can not only apply to people we've already decided to question. Tonight, we're asking something simple. Why wasn't Nolan's phone handed over to law enforcement? Not because a phone automatically proves guilt, not because withholding a phone automatically means someone did something wrong, but because in a case where people are demanding every interview, every timeline, every message, every movement, and every possible piece of evidence to be examined, why wouldn't Nolan's phone matter too? That phone could potentially provide context, who Nolan communicated with, what happened before that night, what happened during it, what people knew afterward. Maybe it changes everything, maybe it changes nothing. But shouldn't investigators be allowed to determine that? Because we cannot demand transparency from one side while accepting unanswered questions from another. And this is where tonight's conversation gets uncomfortable. And we really And are we really concerned about finding out what happened to Nolan? Or are we only concerned with evidence that supports what we already believe happened? Tonight isn't about attacking Nolan's family. It isn't about defending the young men who were with him. And it isn't about picking a side. It's about consistency. If we want the boat examined, examine it. If we want the young men questioned, question them. If we want their phones examined, examine them. And if Nolan's phone could contain relevant information, why not just hand over the phone? One decision, one question, potentially important consequences. Welcome to Same Soil, Different Roots Town Hall 4.
Yeah. Deep rooted conversations. Real talk. Real roots. Real us. Souls. Soft rain. No middleman between the truth. I can see it in your eyes, you got it. Pain got your heart moving cautious. Different worlds but the same kind of scars here. Different roads but somehow we still crossed it. Mad cause the world never listened right. Mad cause your truth always turned.
So there's some interesting information that's coming out and that's being alleged when it comes to Nolan's phone. Now, there have been two things that I've keyed on and focused on since this story came out, since the investigation started. The first thing was, what the heck happened to Nolan, which is everybody saying, but not specifically what happened to Nolan with his friends, but what happened to Nolan with the last person who saw him alive. Who is that? Where are they? Where did Nolan go? Did he go to the other side of the island and go to the bathroom and then he just got into the water and disappeared? Did he get on a boat with someone else? Who saw what happened? The second thing, and the main thing I've been focusing on, and we talked a lot about, is Nolan's phone. Now, we know there was a lot of skepticism coming from Nolan's family side, specifically with Christine. She's been outspoken about that when it comes to accessing his phone. She even said from the beginning, it looks like there were messages missing. It looked like there were texts. It looked like there were photos missing from Nolan's phone, and she did not know why. So we already knew from the beginning that Nolan's family had a major distrust for local law enforcement and even the friends who were involved in this case. Now we're hearing reports that the police actually never got access to Nolan's phone. Now, there's two sides to this, of course, just like there are in every story. There's really three sides to every story. But in this case, I want you guys to let me know if you think you understand this. Do you understand them keeping the phone, wanting to go through their own independent discovery, their own independent investigation? Or do you think it should have been handed over to authorities immediately? Because we're going to find out here. And shout out to Sarah Fields for reporting on this over on X. She says, allegedly, not long after July 6th, Al Sharpton told TMZ that Nolan's phone had been wiped clean. I don't know why Al Sharpton's speaking on this, but either way, Al Sharpton said, and quote, all of his photos, text messages, and everything on the phone had been erased. Allegedly, the authorities were given Nolan's phone. Christine Wells never turned it over. Therefore, the claim that anything was erased will remain unproven and unsupported allegation. If anything was actually erased, as they asserted, they clearly didn't care enough to have it investigated, or it wasn't his friends who erased it. Now, again, this is a lot of speculation in here. Again, Sarah's been doing a great job investigating this, but I think we got to pump the brakes on this a little bit because we don't know if they have their own expert, if they got with the Celebrite, if they got with someone who could look into and get the data information from this phone. We do know that they have reached out to and they actually subpoenaed Snapchat, Google, Facebook, and multiple other companies to try and get Nolan Wells' data. So the question you want to ask is, well, why are they asking for this if they already have his phone, if they have his phone in their possession? So again, I would hold off on making any conclusions here, but it's interesting to hear that that's what's being said. Secondly, Sarah says this. She says exclusively, sources say that Nolan's cell phone was never turned over to authorities. And according to a credible source, allegedly, I want to make that very clear, with close proximity to and knowledge of the investigation, that more than 30 days after the death of Nolan Wells, his mother, Christine Wells Wansley, has allegedly not surrendered Nolan's cell phone to authorities. That might be understandable. This is the same cell phone that became a major point of speculation almost immediately after Nolan's disappearance and death. Christine herself made Nolan's cell phone a significant part of the public's suspicion. I think I thought about that myself. I didn't need Christine to do that. The fact that they had his phone and Nolan didn't have his phone with him, I think was the biggest red flag to anybody who saw this from the beginning. Now, initially, Christine said Nolan's phone was not with him on Horn Island. According to her own account, the family tracked the phone using Life 360, determined that it was back on the mainland, and had a family friend retrieve it from a friend's house. And Warren testified to that, or I guess said that during an interview as well. Now, Christine then publicly discussed that she and her sister found, or more importantly, what they didn't find when they went through Nolan's phone. She said they checked both his Snapchat accounts and found no photos or videos from that day because less than 24 hours had passed and Nolan was someone who normally took photos and videos while out with close friends. Christine suggested that the content must have been deleted. Now, it makes me wonder, were text messages and information that they knew should have been there not there? Again, guys, is it possible? Maybe. Those statements helped fuel multiple conspiracy theories and unverified rumors surrounding Nolan's phone and what may or may not have been removed from it. It was later clarified by multiple witnesses that Nolan left his phone on the boat along with several others as it was not custom to walk around or wade through the water with their cell phones on their person. Christine later clarified her statements, acknowledging that she did not actually know whether anything had been deleted. Her belief was based on the fact that she found it strange that Nolan apparently had not taken photos or videos that day. But now there's a much bigger question. According to a source, allegedly, more than a month after Nolan's death, Christine refuses to turn Nolan's cell phone over to authorities. Again, I think that may be because they're doing their own investigation and they want to explore every single avenue of what happened until they hand the phone over to authorities. To me, that makes the most sense. But again, y'all let me know what you think. And then she says, if Christine genuinely believes foul play may have occurred, and if she believes Nolan's cell phone could contain important evidence connected to what happened, why has the phone not been surrendered to investigators for forensic examination? She has stated that she wants the truth. Well, probably because they've raised nearly $1 million and they can do their own investigation. Again, I'm just thinking with common sense, guys. I don't know. This is all speculation. This is, let's be honest, speculation by Sarah here. In my opinion, if you raised $1 million and you can do the investigating yourself, probably, maybe in a lot of cases at a higher level than local law enforcement, just do it yourself. I'm not turning over. Guys, I got this. I'm going to go to the best of the best. We got Ben Crump. We got Colin Kaepernick. We got Tyler Perry. We got $1 million. And I'll do the investigating and find out exactly what happened on this phone. And if you guys want to use that report as a part of your grand jury, evidence, then go ahead. And once we're done, I'll give you the phone. So yeah, I don't know. Could they keep a copy of the phone and then use that? Probably. I don't blame. And I, especially with the statement, as you guys know, I keep harping on that the sheriff made shortly after Nolan Wells was found, saying that there wasn't any suspicion of foul play. Christine's like, nah, I'm done with you guys. We're going to do this ourselves.
So we're going to stop there. Good afternoon, good evening to everyone who's entering into the chat, everyone who's in the building. We appreciate everyone who has tuned in to Town Hall number 4 as we speak about some of the new videos. I won't even say evidence, just new videos that have come out. Just more information to put out there for you guys who are not able to watch everything, because I know it's a lot coming out. So again, this town hall is just to raise awareness to what's going on, but also for people to be able to give their own opinion and their own side. So, Brain, how do you feel initially about the phone issue with Miss Wells still having the phone and not being turned over? How do you initially feel about that conversation?
With the private investigation, the independent investigation being done with Crump and his team and whatnot, I would hope to think that she's already done that with the investigators that they have. I don't know for sure if she hasn't done. Do we know for sure that she hasn't done that with the investigators that they had? We don't know for sure. So, but with that being said, I don't see why it was still. Obviously, and this is in my opinion, she has some trust issues with the local law enforcement there. She is not trusting their investigation fully. So that may be her reason for not wanting to turn over the phone to investigators. But also, why haven't they issued a warrant for evidence in the same, So I, I still have my stance on. I think I understand Mississippi is trying to do a thorough investigation. The local law enforcement is trying to do a thorough investigation there, and I understand that it takes time. But I still think that they drug their feet a little bit, and we don't know what they have turned over to the grand jury yet as well. So,
Okay. Yeah. All great questions. All great questions. We are going to have some legal experts actually answer some of the questions that we are asking ourselves tonight. We actually have some video footage of certain attorneys that are going to give their reasoning why they feel like the phone is not actually being turned in. The only question that this spirals to me is if you have this and you're not making any attempts to get this phone either unlocked or get the information extracted, what side of the story do you want? Like that's something that no one else has, right? The Mississippi DA doesn't have it. Like no one outside of the Wells family has that one item of possible evidence that could be used. So as just a person just thinking from just a logical standpoint, why wouldn't we go ahead and give everybody that pertinent information?
right.
Like, why wouldn't you already, like, why would we want everybody to focus on a CTO audio or a picture of a boat or like all these things that everybody's trying to like convince themselves what they see or hear. But this is the one piece of evidence that, again, Class E said it very good, right? Very eloquently. You got all this funding behind you. Why wouldn't that be your first thing?
Right.
Because it was one of the first things that came out per Al Sharpton, per we just heard from his documentation. So I just think it just makes you wonder, like, if we're looking for truth and you have a source of truth, why wouldn't that be your main go-to? That'd be like if I knew in a possible murder case, I knew where the weapon was that still had blood on it, but I'm just gonna hide it and wait for every other piece of evidence to come out. But I'm not gonna give you the weapon that I already found in the trash can yesterday.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make sense. And it might have my son or daughter's DNA on it. Like I don't, because that, you know what I mean? Like all because and I'm sure you watch a lot of Law and Order, a lot of so like
First 48,
you think
that.
about it, outside of the family, couldn't we have gotten handprints off of that to bring in everybody who's questioned who touched the phone that day? You see what I mean? Like you think about it just like a weapon. If somebody finds a weapon that was used in an incident, they're going to bring everybody in there whoever had fingerprints on that weapon.
Oh yeah.
You see what I mean? So it's like it's actually could lead us to a lot of pertinent information. You know what I mean? Then we don't have to speculate. We can say, "Yep, okay, Warren, why was your hands on that phone? Okay, what moments were your hands on that?" Like you can bring people in and ask them very pertinent questions. So just it doesn't really raise concern for me because I understand that, like you said, it could be the possible relationship or the fear of handing it over, feeling like it's not going to be done correctly, or but I'm just feeling like, man, how long has it been now? It's been over a month now, right?
Oh yeah.
So I mean, some time has passed. I don't know.
Like 7 weeks, I think.
Yeah, so I don't know why we wouldn't
6.
want that information. So
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna get to some of these comments. Oh, again, just for some housekeeping, if anybody wants to come up, we will drop the link again for town hall. You can come up, speak for 2 minutes. Me and Rain are not here to combat or go against what you have to say. You can let the world know how you feel, and then we'll let you drop off at 2 minutes. Or if it goes quicker, we'll let you leave the stage. So, but we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Shout out to our Facebook people over there. We have Miss Deborah, we have Marcus Riley. We appreciate y'all on the Facebook side of things.
Definitely.
So here you go. Let's see here. There you go. We'll start here. Okay.
Plug said, hey, Plug, but why would she delete her son's phone? Penny said, yeah, the cloud would have it, but Apple's privacy laws are pretty strict. So unless they had the password, then I don't know how they would get into it. Yeah. Plug said, now, why wouldn't she turn over the phone? That doesn't make sense. She would want the truth, right? Miss V said, well, why haven't investigators sent a warrant for that phone? Uncle Plug said, all this sounds fugazi to me. I'm just saying. I heard him say that. Fugazi. Miss V said, seat. Penny said they raised $1 million. How much goes to Crump and how much to the fam?
Yeah, Crump 33%. If you go look at his website, 33%.
Mm-hmm. Plug said, now that makes sense. She would keep and do their own investigation.
We're gonna give y'all this great show is all gonna correlate. You're gonna see what's supposed to actually happen with the phone.
Welcome in 215. Why not the FBI? I think they were involved a little bit. Uncle Plug said 33%.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Penny said, Uncle, I'm in the wrong business.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Uncle Plug said, me too. Me too. Miss V said, cool beans, thank you. Penny said, I'm with Rain. Lots of cut corners, though. Too many to just be mistakes. Miles said, are warrants public info? Maybe it was issued and we don't know.
Miles, you're peeking around the corner. You're peeking around the corner. We're gonna play a lot of good information tonight.
Penny said, and fingerprints on the phone is a lot, because now I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Maddie said, I would not turn over his phone to any of law enforcement. They haven't even arrested or questioned anyone, as well as the sheriff saying no foul play before the autopsy. Penny said, we do have to consider that there is stuff on the phone because he's a kid, a high school kid. He's college, right? He was going to college.
Yep.
That would reflect badly on his character. Maybe that too. Maybe the mama seen something in there that she doesn't want exposed. Maddie said any good parent will have their kid's password.
And Marty, we're going to actually be speaking about that very soon. So we appreciate everybody who's here tonight. We're going to move on to the I call this one Town Hall one alpha, because it goes along with the case as well. So let's see here. Let's share this, and we're going to talk a little bit more here.
As many of you know, we talked about an interesting fact that Nolan Wells' family allegedly had not turned over his phone to the police. Now, there was a video that we dropped and talked about it, and we went into detail on what happened, what was being said by both sides. And now we're actually going to hear verified information from Nolan Wells' family attorney, who's going to speak on this. And then we'll actually get into the interview that was recently done by Officer Tatum, where a lot of what's being discussed when it comes to Nolan's phone, when it comes to the audio, the CETO audio specifically in this case. And we'll get into that shortly. But first, Sarah Fields posted this over on X and has done a great job reporting on and covering this. And this is from an attorney that is representing Nolan Wells' family. Here's what they had to say. Dear Mrs. McIlrath, please be advised that A.R. Smith Law, PLLC, has been retained to serve as local counsel for the estate and family of Nolan Wells. Moving forward, I will be working alongside the legal team at Ben Crump Law in representing our client and addressing matters arising from Nolan Wells' death. As the legal team has previously...
And just to give y'all an update for those who probably can't see it, I don't know if you're watching on the vertical or the horizontal. That just came out August the 11th. That just came out yesterday when everybody first found out about the phone. So that lets you know that they are listening to what's going on in the public, what's going on in the content. Like everything is being heard. That's why I was saying our voices are very important and content is very important because they're paying attention to what's actually going on. So, and appreciate the moderators, guys.
Stated, including during our in-person meeting with the Wells family and council, we have been and remain ready and willing to cooperate in arranging a joint forensic inspection of Nolan Wells' personal phone. Now, again, they're probably saying this because they've heard a lot of reports. They've heard people talking about this, and this letter was written yesterday. So they want everyone to know, including whoever's over on the other side, that we're willing to work with you guys to get you the information. This is something I mentioned during the last video. I said they could give them a copy. they could have the phone, they could make a copy, send it to them. There's a lot of ways they could give them access to this phone. And one of the scrutiny or one of the criticism that they were receiving was that if you're trying to find answers, why not give them the phone? And I said to you guys, looking at this objectively, I could understand in a lot of cases why they wouldn't want to give up the phone, because the phone may be a key, and I'm sure Christine believes this, to finding out what actually happened to Nolan. So you don't want to really give something that important up to just anybody, especially if you don't trust local law enforcement. You don't want to say, oh yeah, sure, here you guys go, take the phone. Because local law enforcement, in my opinion, already mishandled the situation from the beginning. So now they say, during that meeting, we specifically discussed having the examination conducted through the digital forensics lab at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, as well as the possibility of the FBI involvement in the process. You guys mentioned this in the comments. I saw it in the last video as well. You said, just hand it over to the FBI. It's a good point. Now, our position has not changed, they say. We are prepared to coordinate a mutually agreeable date and procedure for the examination of the phone. Accordingly, to the extent there has been any suggestion that we have been unwilling or failed to cooperate with the investigation, we want to make clear that that is not the case. Well, there you go. There's the PR move, in my opinion. You also previously indicated that Dr. Mitchell would be provided an opportunity to review the materials necessary for him to complete his autopsy review. We remain prepared to facilitate that process. Please provide us with all the available dates and times for Dr. Mitchell to review those material, along with any instructions necessary to arrange his access. We would like to move both of these matters forward promptly and remain available to coordinate with your office. And that was written by Ahmad Smith. All right, so there's a little bit of commentary that was given there by Sarah. I'm not going to get into that too much, but again, I think it is interesting that this comes out the day we started talking about what was happening with the phone. I don't know if they're watching the channel. I don't know if they're looking at what's going on social media, but I think the timing is funny. So now let's get into what's being discussed about this phone situation and why it's important that the family is choosing and decided to hold the phone back. I see why they would do it. I see why they would want to handle it this way, especially if you want to be in control of all the evidence. But we're actually going to hear from Charles from TMZ, I know, and we're going to hear from Don Lemon. He actually did a short and brief interview on Don Lemon talking about some of the things they're finding out behind the scenes when it comes to why the family kept the phone and what that's going to look like moving forward. I'm not going to play the full interview, but I will leave a link in the description so you guys can go and watch this full interview from Don Lemon. Check this out.
I mean, it sounds like the family, I think you nailed it, saying that they're willing to work with the authorities, but they don't trust the authorities. And what I heard, the key thing there is they said they're willing to do a joint forensic examination of the phone. It doesn't sound like they have been holding on to the phone. They don't want to give it to the authorities and let them and leave it to their device, to them to do their process without having their own investigator there at the same time. So it sounds like, basically what they're saying is we'll hand over the phone, but we're going to send our forensic investigator too, and they will sit there with your investigators and go through the phone. But it doesn't sound like they're willing to just hand over the phone and let the authorities do whatever they want with it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do you guys agree with that? Do you think it's understandable that they wouldn't want to give the phone to authorities, and that now that they have all these resources, they have Ben Crump on the team, that they're able to just do it themselves? They really, I'm going to be honest, guys, you don't really need the police to help you with that. You don't need the police to conduct the forensic interview or to look at the digital forensics of the phone. You can do that yourself. You can go to Celebrite, say, I have this phone I want you to get the information from, and move from there. So again, I mean, do they maybe have more resources? I don't think so. Let me know what you guys think.
So, but it seems, in some of these things, Charles, it seems like a long time, right? I mean, you and I were discussing what happened with some of the other high profile cases and the toxicology reports and all of that, the autopsy reports, all the things. These things don't happen as quickly as people would think in real life, right? It's not like Law and Order where the case is solved and you get all the information within, an hour, 45-minute period.
Well, you can.
No, it's definitely not like that. And, we were just talking about it this morning before our morning meeting that it's coming up on, I believe, 7 weeks now. Mm-hmm. Next week will be 7 weeks. And typically it's around that 7 to 8 week period where you start expecting that there could be toxicology results coming out. Not before that, but every department around the country is different. I'm basing that mostly on cases that we've covered here in LA, but I can't speak to how the process works down in Ocean Springs. But around 8 weeks is when you could say, what's going on here. And obviously people have wanted the autopsy results, the toxicology results. They wanted it, 2 days after Nolan's body was found. It just doesn't work that way. But, if this thing drags on to, beyond 10 weeks, beyond 12 weeks, people are really going to start asking questions. And the question is going to be, and I understand why the sheriff has not wanted to discuss a lot of what's going on in this case. It's an open investigation. I get that. But you also got to be realistic about the fact that this is an incredibly high profile case with a lot of attention around the country and is creating a lot of divisiveness around the country. So, you know, at some point you would think the sheriff has got to come out and say, look, here's where we are. We know everyone wants these results, but we just don't have it yet. And here's what's happening in our lab. They tell us it could be, give people a range or something so they have some expectations. But, you know, that's not happening. And I don't think that it should have happened up to this point. I'm saying that in the next couple of weeks, if we don't hear anything, people are going to get very antsy.
Yeah. And again, I mean, we have to wait for the grand jury. I think there's really nothing that the sheriff can do at this point because, as we know, the district attorney said, listen, we got the autopsy. It's done. It's going to a grand jury now. We'll have to wait and see what the grand jury says. I don't know that the toxicology is done, as they said. So that seems to be most likely the final piece to getting all of this ironed out.
So there you have it, man. Class E does a great job breaking down the news. So I really enjoy taking in his content. He does a great job. So shout out to Class E. What is your thoughts about that? I wanted to play them back to back. So
Yeah.
some of the questions were kind of answered for the chat, but they also, you know, because I think we're all on the same page to feel like you can understand why she wouldn't want to hand over the phone.
Yeah.
But we're also at a point now where if you want answers, the world wants answers. Are you waiting for the toxicology report? Like, why did you write a document the day that you see everybody speaking about the phone? Like, how does all this correlate?
Well, I mean, obviously, since the phone was starting to be questioned anyways, I guess they're trying to satisfy the masses and saying, hey, we will do a joint investigation, which is understandable. I feel as though it's understandable. But with that being said, they've got this money. They've got the team behind them to do a private investigation, or, you know, so why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they go ahead and say, hey, or is it because of Apple's privacy laws that they can't, it has to be some kind of like law enforcement saying, hey, but then if you got somebody that does that kind of thing, you can just go ahead and do it because he's no longer here. And
I'm sorry.
No, if the mama has power of attorney or she's over his estate anyway, so she should have some kind of say so with what can be extracted from his phone and what can't. Is that, I'm not certain how that works, but
this is the question I have, and maybe I'll do some research myself because I know Marty said good parent. I think she said good parents was the word she used, but she said they would have the password. I don't always agree with that because I don't think every parent out there or all the parents in the chat have their children's password, especially at his age when he's heading off to college.
Right.
With that being said, my next question would be how credible that evidence is if somebody has already tampered with it, not just the people that are allegedly tampered with it, but how do we not know it was not altered by the parents either? Like how good is that evidence if the phone has been unlocked? You see what I mean?
Yeah, but they should be able to tell what's going on with it. It's like a digital.
Yeah, and that's another question, right? Because we're gonna get to it later on in the town hall tonight. One of the attorneys talked about that, right? He talked about once that phone is extracted, meaning like once that information is taken off of that phone, that now becomes evidence that can be used in any case. It can be the defamation of character. It can be. So let's say what Marty said was true, right? Maybe they don't want them to know, well, the first time that phone was actually open was when it got into the hands of the Wells family. So because like with us waiting 7 to 8 weeks for the toxicology, like I don't understand. If I'm a parent, I want all the immediate evidence that I can receive.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait for something that I'm just holding on to like a last ditch effort. Like I'm going to go ahead and get everything that I can receive back. And then all the extra stuff will be collateral to prove our case. That's how I would look at it if I was a parent. Like this happened to my child. I have this piece of evidence. Now I wouldn't give it over to Mississippi. I agree with that part. Like I understand. I understand that. I get that. I'm not arguing that at all. But I would be like, hey, Mr. Crump, Mr. Kaepernick, hey, how much money we need to extract this information from this phone, and like what legalities we need to get paperwork wise and things of that nature so that we can use everything that we receive as evidence.
Yeah.
So it poses a lot of questions, though. I
It
mean,
does, yeah.
you can see both sides as a parent, but then it's also like, okay, do we want the information or not? So yeah.
Tough stuff. Tristan said, "Did I miss Rain's segment?" Thank you, Tristan. No, this is the same soil, different roots. I don't.
The whole show her segment. The whole show her segment.
Penny said, "Nope." Tristan said, "Bet."
Sco in the building. What's up, Sco?
Hey, Sco. Tristan said, "What's up, Sco?" H2001 said, "Yes." Marty said, "Hey, Penny and Sco." Sco said, "What's good, Tristan?" Everybody speaking in the chat. Penny said, "What's up, Marty?" All good, dog. Penny says 7 weeks seems like forever. And it does. It does. Tristan said the government is fulfilling its true purpose, which is why we shouldn't trust them. H2001 said, "Yep." Tristan said, "We expect them to protect their own people, so that's not a surprise to me." Uncle Plus said, "Everybody hit that like button. Do that while y'all in here. Hit the subscribe button too if you haven't already done so." Penny said, "I can see it being a leverage play. I'll show you mine if you show me yours."
Gotcha. Okay.
I was disappointed whenever they came out with the independent autopsy before the state.
Yeah, and so Penny, we're gonna get to that too, because they're gonna talk a lot about. We're gonna get to hear a lot from the attorneys of the young men. A lot of their phones and stuff were already taken. A lot of things were already looked at. So
Penny said Apple won't even allow the government in unless they have the passcode. Government took Apple to court and lost. Ooh.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Plus said Sco. Sco said, "What's good, Unc?" And he said, "Lift them, bro."
So shout out to everybody who is here for the town hall. Again, remember, all you have to do is let us know in the chat if you would like to come up. We will drop the link for you. You will have 2 minutes to speak about whatever topic you like on the Nolan Wells case. It doesn't have to be just what we're talking about tonight. It could be your opinion, your thoughts, so everybody can hear how you feel about this issue and this incident that happened to Nolan Wells. So we're going to move on to town hall number 3. Well, actually 2, because 1 alpha. So we're going to move over to 2, where Tatum actually had 2 interviews this week. He dropped both of them in the past 48 hours. So this first one is going to be the first interview with the boys there. And I'm going to tell you, I wasn't really impressed with this interview, but we'll discuss it once it's over. So let me see here. Pick up the speed a little bit.
Obviously, before this happened, I would assume you're living a regular life. Young guys being in college, having a typical experience. Then you lose your friend.
I think ever since it happened, my life just hit like a hole. Even going out, we're always paranoid somebody's gonna see us, get spotted, try to beat us up potentially, or even worse.
You just met these young men more recently, and are you confident that these young men had nothing to do with it? We have Ed Pausick, Warren, Jax, and then we have Morgan here. And so I talked to Warren last time I was here. We had a really deep conversation, and I'm glad that we were able to get other perspectives. Now that we have Ed here, Ed is a defamation attorney. And I want to start with you, Ed. Why did you choose to work with the boys? What is your plans? What do you expect to get out of working with them? What's your expectations when it comes to defamation?
Well, I think an injustice in one place is an injustice everywhere. I hate lying. I care about the truth, but most of all, it's the actual people who are involved here. So first of all, I just want to say Tyler Cox really welcomed me here. My co-counsel, he's an incredible human being and he's an incredible attorney. And then after that, I had an opportunity to meet these incredible young men. And I just got to say, these guys are unbelievable. Warren, Jackson, Morgan, they're just beautiful people. They're really decent human beings. They're just great people. And, that's why I'm here, because I want to help great people. And this is a very sad situation, but it's also a very human situation, and it's a tragedy.
So you guys have, obviously before this happened, I would assume you're living a regular life. Young guys being in college, having a typical experience. Then you lose your friend, Nolan, and after that, what has life been like for you guys?
I think ever since it happened, my life just like hit like a hole, like it just stopped. And I mean, we just got to live day by day from now on. I could say definitely a whole flip upside down for our lives. It's like even going out, you know, we're always paranoid somebody's gonna see us, get spotted, try to beat us up potentially, or even worse. We're really just trying to stay low key and not go out as much or anything like that. Yeah.
It's been hard because my friends and I are people. I mean, we like to be out and hang out outside of our friend group, you know, and not being able to like go certain places or, you know, walk around in public because our head's always on a swivel. It's really affected all of us. I mean, especially in like my family's standpoint, my safety comes first. My friends and family safety come first too. And it's been really hard because I'm worried about like my family as well with me. And it's hard, but you know, we're just going day by day and just trying to get through every day, you know.
Can you give me some examples of what has happened? Have you guys had things happen online, threats online? Have you guys have any examples of people accosting you or anything like that?
Oh yeah, we have had countless death threats online, been spotted. I'll let you elaborate more on that. Being spotted.
I mean, people have obviously just pointed us out. I mean, as a group and even on a one-on-one setting, I think it's really just like awkward because I don't want to talk about this, and I know my friends don't want to talk about this any more than we need to. You know, we're still mourning one of our best friends' death, and it's hard to speak about it when, you know, like sometimes we just need some alone time, or sometimes we just need to, you know, lay back and not be around all this. And I mean, I've been called out in public, and I haven't been in public that much. I know my friends have had encounters in public. The threats have been insane from, you know, my stepmom, my dad, my mom, just everyone included, like even my brothers and my sisters. And it's just hard. I mean, it's unbelievable where like this has been taken to and the level where this is at.
When you say you've been called out in public, can you give me an example of like, what do you mean? People are threatening you with weapons? People are, you know, not allowing you, denying you service? Because I heard that Trayston, he went to a corner store and they told him his money is not good there. They wouldn't even let him buy Gatorade.
Yeah.
Are you experiencing things like that or something totally different?
Right. I wouldn't say like that. I think I haven't been denied, you know, anything, but like Trayston, it's hard to hear from a good friend of mine that he's getting denied a Gatorade and a Red Bull before work and having to, like, he calls me, he's like, dude, you won't believe what just happened. He got called out at Walmart. Someone called him out at Walmart and was like asking him all these questions and trying to press him about it. And it's crazy to me. Like, you know, we live in a very tight-knit community, and for people to, you know, push back and say these things when they know what Ocean Springs is like, it's really hard. And I mean, I haven't had many personal encounters, but I know being around the guys and stuff like that, they have. So.
And Ed, as an attorney that's representing these boys, I mean, what does that make you feel like? You know, do you feel like you got a good case here, or, you know, what's your perspective in that? Because, you know, people are online and obviously they know who you are. Obviously they know you represented Donald Trump in some pretty high profile cases. And so now that you've joined, or at least now you work for the young men here, you hear them say things like they've been accosted, they've been, you know, threatened online. Does that make your case a greater case, or how do you work within what's happening to these young men?
Well, unfortunately, I wish there was no case. I wish this hadn't happened. But unfortunately, because these things did happen, there is a case, and now there's multiple cases. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you're out there and you lied about these guys, you lied about my guys, you lied about Tyler's guys here, if you lied about Morgan, if you lied about Jax, if you lied about Warren, we're gonna get you. And you're gonna be hauled into court, you're gonna be held accountable, and it's gonna be very painful. And what I would say to the people who have done that is, now's your chance. If you want to apologize and retract before you find yourself in court, you should probably do that now. Because if you don't do that, once you're in court, now you can't leave. You won't be able to get out of it. And we're not going to name names because there's some other folks who are doing that, and we want to be better than that. And I want to emphasize this, right? We're not here to guess. We're not here to speculate. We're only going to deal in facts, right? And here's the most important thing, right? We don't know how Nolan Wells died. No one here is saying we know. But what we do know is Morgan, Jax, and Warren had nothing whatsoever to do with Nolan Wells' death. And that's what's important. And unfortunately, because there are people who want to divide a town and come in from the outside and tell people what to think and pit neighbor against neighbor, it compounds the tragedy. It magnifies the tragedy. And I just want to say this. Here's why it's an even bigger tragedy. Because my friends here, Morgan, Jax, and Warren, these guys are not just the finest that Ocean Springs has to offer, finest that Mississippi has to offer. These are the finest young men.
So I'm gonna stop it there first, because I want to hear when rain starts leaning in. I'm always looking to hear your opinion. I'm always looking to hear your opinion on this. What do you think so far? And then I'll give you my thoughts.
I think this is a chance to, or they were looking for a chance to put some positivity behind their name in a way. Um, Try to get the negative light off of them in a way. Um, Unfortunately, it might not work in that sense.
Mhm.
Um, I still, in my opinion, still believe that whoever Nolan came with, he should have left with them. I feel like they should not have left that island without him. I know I've consumed so much Nolan evidence, or not evidence, but Nolan's
Content.
content, um, that there's so many different versions of what happened and whose boat was whose and whose boat, who was on what boat. At the end of the day, even though Nolan was a young adult and able to make his own decisions, there there has to be some kind of friendship responsibility in that. If I was at a bar with one of my friends and she's just like, "Hey, I'm not going," she's inebriated, can't think for herself, and or says that, "Hey, I'm not going home." No, we going home. As a friend, my responsibility is to get you home if we are true friends, regardless of the situation. So it's to answer your question in short, I believe that this was done in order to try to shine some positive light behind the negativity that they have been receiving across um, the the media and whatnot, and in town. Now, do I think that they deserve the treatment that they're receiving in town, with being refused service, with being looked at funny, or questioned by the public? No, no decent human being would do that to these young men. But at the same time, they got to understand that it's frustrating to the public as well, and probably to the Wells, the Wansleys, because it seems like there's so much unfinished stories, unfinished business. There's no concrete answer. And with that amount of people being on that island at that one time, I'm gonna say it like I've been saying for the last however many weeks. Somebody saw something.
Yeah.
So
I'm a preference with this first, and then I really want to see if everybody can hear this through. I agree with what everybody is saying in the chat, because I'm very big on words. When I'm watching somebody say, "My friends," "my boys," my I understand that talk. I heard that a lot in my 20-year military career. You know what I mean? And it wasn't towards me. It was towards my white office partners or whoever I was working with. So I understand that verbiage. I understand what they're doing. We all know that this is a defamation attorney. He also was an attorney for President Trump. So even if you heard the verbiage, right? He did the injustice for one is what is it? That little saying they did throughout the
yeah.
whole, yeah,
Mhm.
like with that being said, I want you guys to think about it in this manner too, though. Just imagine if we reverse roles and we did that for each other. Do y'all see how white people will gather together regardless how you may feel about the individuals they're representing? They gather together. Let me say that again. They gather together. That's why they're so strong. That's why this attorney can speak with so much authority and trying to place fear. I think somebody said he's doing like reverse crump thing, reverse crump bites type thing. With that being said, but they're never introducing division amongst each other, because we don't know how they might feel behind the door. We don't know what conversations are going on behind the scenes. But at the same time, I guarantee he told them everything they needed to say and they said it. We have to learn how to, even if we disagree, let's learn to look like a unit together. You see what I mean? Like when you think about even Brandon Tatum, he's handpicked, even if he's handpicked. So what would you call a DL Hughley, right? He's handpicked to divide. So now you put both black men against each other instead of saying, "Hey man, let's come on our podcast. Let's talk positive. Let's positively disagree, but let's have the conversation." And the last question that everybody should ask each other is this: do we want justice for Nolan Wells? You do? Yeah, I do. Okay, cool. We're going in the same direction.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how you feel about me or how you feel about the situation. At the end of the day, if we both say we want justice for Nolan Wells and the truth, we have the same vision. So when we go into this room, we need to be a bunch of niggas together. We can divide outside, but when we walk in the room, we should be together. So regardless how you may take this information that they're giving out tonight, white people show you why they continue to be above, because they stick together even when the things are effed up. Even if they know there's a liar amongst them, even if they know it's the wrong person that they're defending, they look together as a unit. You can't beat that. Those four sitting together is stronger than the 20,000 black people dividing because we don't feel the same about something. So I really want y'all to always take away, we can disagree with what we're seeing, but we also need to see what they're showing. Regardless, what you're going to see this whole pattern throughout the night of just the division on one side and then the unity on the other side. So I will get to some of these chats and then we'll play the rest of the video. I'll let you get to that, ma'am.
Uncle Plug said the lawyer said that if anyone accusing these men of anything, they will be sued. Well, I say come get these $13. Penny said straight coached answer scripted. Sko said, man, F them boys and their lawyer. Uncle Plug said, me, I didn't do nothing. We didn't say you did. Me, I'm getting an attorney. Now you look like you did something. Me, huh? Uncle Plug said, were you accosted? Yeah, but no, but yeah, but not really. But I was in fear of my life. Well, kind of. Tristan said, well, we know what Ocean Springs is like, sir. Penny said, don't start none, won't be none, homie. This is extreme. A human died with no answers. That's extreme. Shaking my head.
Definitely agree.
Tristan said, this attorney is a whole red flag, unprofessional, and making empty threats.
Yep.
Uncle Plus said, you gonna get who? I got a VPN and everything is AI. Penny said, I don't know how you find an impartial jury after this.
That's facts, Penny.
Yeah. I think it got to be in a whole nother state or something with people who don't even know what's going on. You need somebody who don't have internet access or anything. Tristan said, if you know that he died, but don't know what happened, how it happened, why are you so confident and they didn't do it? Uncle Plus said, if that's the finest, y'all efforts in trouble. I can hear him talk. Penny said, reverse crump sound bites. Tristan said, please understand that they picked Brandon for a reason. He's genuinely trying to help them, and that's the scary part. Penny said, that's facts. Brandon is looking bought and sold. Uncle Plus TV said, these Nabisco kids are desperate. Tristan said, you don't go into self-preservation that quick after your friend passed away. Stop. Penny said, Rain, is it really that much of an injustice that they refuse service if they refuse information? Uncle Plug got the
hear no evil, speak no evil. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Uncle Plug Tristan said, I agree, souls 100. We only come together temporarily. Penny said, souls agree, but it won't ever happen. Uncle Plug said, or turmoil. Penny said, we get Brandon out here poking holes in the boat. Unless my eyes deceive me, he black too. UNITY. Penny said, you put but a black man is giving them a platform to band together on.
And you got to look at it in reverse, Penny, too. They're giving him a platform because he's saying he's looking for truth. Like that's why I always say, you know, I enjoy doing these town halls because I'm taking my emotions out of it and I'm just trying to look at it from what people are giving. We can look at it like he's giving them a platform, but we also, if you watch all of Officer Tatum's stuff, he sent emails out to Crump and them told them they didn't want to speak. Like he's giving everybody the same equal opportunity, but again, we choose to not come together because we don't think alike. And then we look divided. But then this man is saying, hey, I'm just looking for answers. And these white boys are willing to give me answers. You guys are not. So we can't really fault someone who's trying to seek truth.
Sko said, Penny, he's borrowing the skin. Penny put a thumbs up for Sko. Penny said, Rain, they got to be on Mars at this point to be impartial. I know. I know that, and that's the thing though. You know, you can't. Maddie said, truth is not scripted, and those boys are running off a script, and that lawyer is the most unprofessional lawyer seen, but he represents Trump, so I can't expect too much from him.
I agree, man. I think everything everybody is saying is valid, but I want you to take away from what, like even this Paul Stream, I didn't do it on purpose, but look at the stream.
Look at the face of I was getting ready to say that the one in the middle, look at his face.
Yeah, like when you think about it, like look at the stream, like regardless how it looks, they're banding together. Like regardless how we want to look at it, they're banding together. And I'm telling you, just imagine looking across the other side if it was D.L. Hughley, Don Lennon, Brandon Tatum. Think about that. Think like change the room. We always say, let's put a black person in the place of this. And so change the room up. Just imagine 4 black men sitting in front of these 4 white men demanding truth and answers. Not meaning that they all agree with how they're doing it, but they're all demanding the right thing. You know what I mean? Like they all are asking for truth. Can you imagine Nolan Wells' dad sitting across from them right now with Brandon Tatum, with D.L. Hughley? Like we have to be able to still come together even in the midst of everything. You know what I mean? Like regardless.
Sko said he represents Trump, and Trump is a 38-time convicted felon. Sko said I wouldn't trust him to be my lawyer.
Yeah. But Sko, you know what I mean? He's there to do defamation, and he won that defamation case for Trump. So again, they're picking the person who has a winning resume, just like the black people pick Crump. You see, everybody's doing the same thing. We just don't want to see it, and we don't want to see both sides because it makes people feel a certain way. But I try to look at it from the full picture of what we're seeing right now. Did you have anything else, Rain, before I played?
Well, his name is Jax in the middle.
Yeah, when he started talking, he didn't know what to say. I don't want to accuse nobody. But
it just seemed like he doesn't want to be there at all. Like he was maybe forced to be there, or like, look, we need to do this together, though. You know, we got type deal. So yeah, you can go ahead and play it though. But just looking at his face is just
that America has to offer. You know, really great people. And Tyler actually taught me good Ocean Springs people. That was one of the first things I heard when I got here. So I'll just say that they're good Ocean Springs people.
Think about that, y'all. He's not even from Mississippi.
So he don't even know what's going on.
Like he don't even know what's going on. He's just going to represent his people.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I know you're enjoying this incredible interview.
Can't give you that.
So this is not 90%. It's not 99%. It's not 99.9999. There's no decimals. There's no anything. It's 100%. 100.000%. Nothing. They did nothing wrong. And that's the problem for our opponents here, who have ruined their lives, dragged them through the mud, and attacked them. You don't get to lie. We have a First Amendment. We love our First Amendment, but you don't get to lie and hurt people. You want to lie and it doesn't hurt people? Fine. You lie and you hurt people. That's why we have defamation. And that's what this is about. So I just want to emphasize this in the strongest possible terms. Zero wrongdoing. Completely innocent. Totally innocent. And categorically innocent.
And you guys have had experiences with either people threatening you online. I know that, Warren, we talked about this before. And we talked a little, or at least spoke a little bit about when you go out, you guys are getting accosted by people. Can you give us an example of, or at least tell the audience an example of an incident where you guys may have been accosted? Or what does that look like when you go out? People threaten you with weapons, or people trying to physically harm you, or people having to be restrained? What kind of engagement is happening when you guys go out?
We went to a restaurant, a couple of buddies of mine, and when we were, I wouldn't say threatening with weapons or anything, but I felt, and I know my friends felt, threat for our lives. I mean, I don't think there was like a fear factor, but at the same time, like it's awkward in public, like I stated, like when we have to talk about these things. But we went to a restaurant and someone came up to me and was like, "Is this you?" And I was kind of like shaken up about it. Well, at first she asked like my name and, you know, like all these questions, and I was like, okay, whatever, you know, she's coming up to talk. Well, then she came up to me again and showed me our first interview and was like, "Are you sure this isn't you?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, that's me, like obviously." And she kind of just, I looked at my buddy and I was like, "Yeah, we're leaving, like close everything out, like we're going." And I left, and there was an altercation after I left with some of my buddies that weren't involved in this at all. And they told my friends that they were going to kill them and they wanted to fight and all this like crazy stuff. I mean, I wasn't there, but my friends told me this, that what the people were saying to them was like totally just crazy. Like, I mean, there was people like that were, you know, outside of this telling us like, "Hey, you need to leave before something happens, because I know what could go down right now. And like, I know that these people are crazy." So, I mean, we all felt, we were kind of shaken up about that. It was weird because it was our first encounter as a group. And I think, "No, I don't have TikTok, anything like that." She was like, "Oh, okay." And then walked off, and then came back with, like you said, the first interview on her phone, and showing him, she was like, "So this isn't you. Either you have a doppelganger or this is you." And he was like, "Well, yeah, that's me." And then we got the check and we bounced, and we were waiting outside for everybody else to get out of there. And while we're waiting outside is whenever some of our other buddies that aren't even on social media that we were just there with was getting told that other people are going to kill them and all that kind of stuff.
So how did that make you guys feel? Did you think they were serious? Did you think it was just people trying to make a name for themselves by confronting you in front of others? Like, what was your take on that, Morgan?
I think it was just like, I was in the general area of where one of our buddies was, where this altercation happened. And I actually got into a conversation with a fellow next to me that wasn't even involved. And he told me straight up, he was like, "If I was y'all right now, I would leave before y'all get hurt. Y'all need to leave right now. I'm just watching out for y'all and making sure y'all are safe." And I mean, I wouldn't say that those people would have physically done something in that moment, but I think they were playing like almost like a mental game, like just to get into your head and just almost like make yourself like just think these things that obviously are not true.
If you could go back to the very beginning of this, how do you think this should have played out? Because I always question in my mind that when I go back, I look at what happened, I look at the initial stories with Nolan, and you guys knew him, right? I didn't know him. I know none of you guys. I just had a chance to meet you guys more recently. But how do you think this should have gone? If you could control the environment, Nolan is found deceased. How do you guys think that this should have been put out to the world?
So first off, I wish that none of this would ever happen. I wish Nolan could still be here with us today. And I wish that, like I said, none of this would ever happen. Like I wish that all this could be erased and Nolan could be here tomorrow. I mean, that's more than anything. But other than that, I feel like his mom blasting us on social media from the get-go, saying that he was out there with Warren and another guy. That's where it first started to take off. And then also the fact that she posted a picture of me and Morgan and another guy and Nolan on the boat together, blasting that out there, pushing this narrative, kind of, I guess. I wish that would have never happened either. And I don't think if those would have never happened, a lot of this stuff wouldn't have been as viral or gone all over the country at this point. I mean, this is a countrywide news story that is just blown out of proportion. And the fact that it was our best friend and it's not what people are saying it is what hurts the most. I mean, that was our brother. I mean, straight up. That's what I told his dad the night that he came over to my house. He was like, blah, blah, saying something. I was like, "Dude, that was my brother." Like, and you know that. He knows that. We were picking him up every single day. He never drove. I can't tell you how many times I pulled up in his driveway and picked him up. And it wasn't him asking. It was just because that's what we did. We just picked up Nolan all the time. That's how we, came about all the stuff that we were going to. We'd go and pick him up. That's how much we like to be around him. We would do stuff like that all the time, Well,
so I'm gonna stop it there. What is your thoughts on this, Rain?
Why did y'all leave him on the island? Why was he left? So they're saying allegedly that Nolan was intoxicated. If y'all were that much of best friends, why leave him there? It just irks my soul because you're saying best friend this, best friend that, but you left him there, knowing and allegedly from what we've been hearing from all these different places across the social media space, he was possibly intoxicated. If that was the case, and he is so called your best friend, why did you leave him there? The other guy said something too, but I lost my track of thought that I wanted to say something on, but it's okay. But I think that if the, I think that if the law wouldn't have brushed it up under the rug or been, I call it nonchalant, been nonchalant with the facts that they received and what was going on at the time, been more open with Christine, been more forthcoming with information, reached out to her, and not came up to a conclusion from the beginning without doing. We don't even know if a proper. We allegedly think that there wasn't a proper investigation done initially, because if that was the case, then they say 60 people have been interviewed. So 60 people, not one of those people saw Nolan. Not one of those people knew where Nolan was. 60 people? Somebody, come on, y'all.
If I was a betting man, I don't gamble, but if I was a betting man, I would put the 3 people that had nothing to do with it in front of all the cameras. I'm gonna say that one more time. If I was a betting man and I was doing something strategic, I will put, because y'all got to think about it. These are outside of Warren. These are 2 new faces.
Yeah.
These are 2 new faces. This ain't the same 3 people he interviewed, except Warren. The other 2 white boys are new to us. We kind of just figuring them out in the midst of it all right now. They all went to the same restaurant. They all had the same story with the TikToker and all that. So, like, if I was a betting man, I would say, as a person, I'm going to put the people that I know that I could cover up for in front of everyone.
I can see your point.
If that was me, if I was thinking in like the eyes of like, cause we kind of talked about when we first started talking about this, How to Get Away with Murder, right? The show. It teaches you a lot about like diversions, right? Like how do you get people to like take their attention off of everything? And in this moment, we went from sitting down with Warren and Tristan and then talking some about Bart to now coming back to a new interview where we only still have Warren, who always had legal counsel, even with his mother, and 2 new faces. So, like, this is where I try to use my common sense and my knowledge is like, I'm going to put 3 people in front of you that I can speak all cocky about because I know they're possibly innocent. And then I'm going to let you guys figure out everything else behind the scenes because we're going to distract you with everything in front of the screen. Because again, as you guys seen on our first 2 videos tonight on Town Hall, Class E said it very, very well. People are watching, right? People are paying attention. I mean, there's documents being created the same day that new news is dropping. Like, people are watching what the world is getting. And this kind of goes back to what Tristan said, right? Tristan was saying that when you think about government, if you really think about the whole thing, I know Plug sometimes calls it like the puppet master, right? If you want to go down that hole, you got to think about, I'm just going to put the people in front of you guys that I know has a good 90-80% chance that they didn't have any involvement, while everybody else that could possibly be accused of this is fixing their stuff behind the scenes. That's just me. If I was a betting man, that's how I would think.
I think all of this could have been avoided if the law enforcement was more forthcoming with, or been not necessarily forthcoming, but a little compassion. They lack compassion for somebody who's lost someone. And I think that comes along with law enforcement a little bit. Yes, you have to have, law and order, but with something tragedy, you do need to have some type of compassion as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But even with that, I mean, we're past that.
Oh yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, after the autopsy started, like, we're like, now it's like everybody's getting totally different stories. Everybody's picking and choosing whose story they want to take, but it's like, okay, what are we going to do with what's put right in front of us? And my biggest question was, okay, he's doing a new interview, but it's totally new people.
Why is it needed?
You see what I mean?
Why is it needed? And then too,
I think at this point, again, even though sometimes I do agree with Officer Tatum, I feel like now Officer Tatum is taking it more personal. And I'm not talking about the situation, I'm talking about for his own self. So now I think he's just trying to get into the rooms to now give another side of something, just to be like, hey, I'm doing this. I'm in front of it. I think it's becoming a personal battle for his own ego, and not really now about the justice of Nolan. That's what it gives off to me. And it's coming from somebody who I like most of Officer Tatum stuff when it comes to like law enforcement videos, stuff like that. But this right here, ever since him and DL had their back and forth, I feel like he's trying to raise the bar, but he's raising the bar and not really providing anything relevant to the people. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's becoming now part of the division.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, that's my thing. Like, you're down there in Mississippi, you down in Mississippi. Why talk to them? Talk to somebody else.
Right.
You just had Cutting with E on your show. Go talk to him. Have him on the couch. Like, go talk to someone outside of all the other people who are being accused. I will say that. Like, I did. That's why I said when I watched it, I wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't a fan of the good old boy speech of the attorney, the lawyer, whatever he is. Like, I can be transparent and say what I don't like, and then Officer Tatum to me now is becoming a stretch. So,
because if him being a law enforcement, I mean, I understand he has a platform. I understand he needs to make content, but him being a law enforcement, a previous officer of the law, he knows that investigations need to happen. And who knows if you're not hindering the investigation with putting these guys on your platform? What if they drop something that, of course we're saying that it's scripted, but what if they drop something by mistake that they should be dropping? I mean, it's and and two, I will say this. It still seems so suspicious that from the beginning, after this happened, they deactivated their social media accounts to include the mom, to include the stepmom. So if you're not guilty in that sense, why even go through all of that? If you're not guilty in that sense, then why do you need to prove yourself on these platforms? Why do you I don't know. I don't know. Tristan said, how did the mom blast y'all when all she did was tell the truth? Did she lie? Penny said, shoulda, woulda, coulda. He said, if it was your brother, you would have brought him home dead or alive. I feel the same. I feel the same. Marty said, if they picked him up all the time, then why did no one know where his house was?
I didn't know that, Marty. That's new. That's new to me.
Because
I thought everybody parked there for like a homecoming or prom or something.
Yeah.
So that's new. That's new news to me. So
yeah. Tristan said he couldn't drive, didn't have his phone, he was drunk, but y'all still left him. Exactly. I'm gonna leave my best friend on this island knowing he intoxicated. That just don't sound right. Walt Diesel said they left the island in a hurry, but never said why they wanted to leave the island early.
And you see how everybody here is thinking. You would think like those would be the questions that people would ask.
Yeah. Penny said, if he's your brother, the only reason to leave Nolan and not call 911 and stay is to get a pound of flesh for your blood. Tristan said, I see an element of white Christian nationalism going on too, but never mind. Penny said, so true. They probably don't have nothing to do with it and have them there to dilute and pose reasonable doubt.
Yeah, that's just my opinion, Penny. Like just being a bed man, like that's what it looks like.
Penny said, random, but what government smokescreen is this for the American people since this is flooding the airway? Because it's taking our attention away from something that they're passing under our noses, like flock.
So, Penny, when I think about that question, again, we talk about this a lot on No Middleman. I feel like these are those micro experiments, right? I think if we believe in these government experiments or smoke and screen, I think it's always an opportunity to say, hey, they still divided. We good. They're still not coming together. We good. Like, don't even worry about it. Get that white girl that just killed that black boy, give her 6 years instead of 35. They won't even pay attention. Oh, you know that mom over there in Memphis that had to shoot the man that was under her 13-year-old daughter bed? They're not even paying attention to it. Oh, you know those people that was hung in Mississippi? They so divided, man. They're so focused on Nolan Wells. Just keep doing what we doing here. I think these are just micro doses of experiments that I always talk about. And that's why I said I feel like we have to come together even if we disagree, as long as the vision is the same.
Uncle Plus said, but a spin. Let's say he's trying to get the boys on the platform knowing they would change their story.
I can see that, Plug. I can see that. He said, nah, I digress. You gave up on it, Plug? Nah.
Penny said random, but where is the real mom of the boy of Warren? Because isn't
because that's his stepmom. That's a good question, Penny.
Yeah,
that's a good question. Do some digging for us, Penny. That's a good question.
Mighty said they still could have returned the phone because they didn't know where his house was. No, Warren done pulled up to the house before. Warren know where they lived.
Yeah, I ain't. Yeah, we could have missed it, Marty. We could have missed it.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. We could have missed it for sure.
Plug said, "Good question, Penny." Tristan said, "The questions we are asking are so basic, though. But again, common sense is not that common."
That is true, Tristan. That is true.
Tristan said, "Black folks have been sheep to the wrong shepherd, and that's the main problem."
But Tristan, we covered yesterday, man. Even the ones in the pool pit too.
Purple Groovy, welcome in. The guilty dog barks first. All right.
Welcome in, ma'am. I think you came in last time. We appreciate you coming back. I know we've seen you before. Thank you. Make sure you hit that like button.
Might have said it was the first interview with Tatum.
Okay. We'll go back and look at it. Yeah. Marty, you might need a cover, man. You know, Tatum might be slipping up himself. He might be slipping up himself. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna get back to the good old boys because they had a second interview here with Officer Tatum where they start to talk about the CETO call. So they're gonna start talking about what actually happened, and I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. So here we go.
I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? You know, why would we do the things we did if we know we killed somebody.
You don't hear about the pool party because it was on June 27th. You don't hear about anything else that was mentioned. Thousands of lies. And now, the audio comes back and all of a sudden we can hear Nolan yelling in the background, screaming, we're screaming about how he's dead. That's just a complete lie.
If you just murdered your best friend on an island, the dumbest thing you could do would be to call the Coast Guard.
What is your thoughts on that phone call to Cito? Some people have gone out and done enhancements to the audio, and in doing that, created a transcript manually. It doesn't appear that the transcript was derived from an automated system or have any, in my opinion, real integrity with it. What are your thoughts, first, you guys, on the audio, and then I'll get to you, Ed, on could that be a defamatory area the way it was produced? So what do you guys think about that audio?
Well, I can go ahead and say that as you posted that clip of all of us on the boat, as it's not rolling, but right there sitting in the water, Wyatt's on the phone with Cito in that clip. I mean, he's on the phone. Wouldn't you think that you would have seen Nolan on the bottom on the floor or something? Or
So do y'all see what I mean now? They're putting in front of us the people who you can start taking certain evidence and it removes them.
or scrambling around, or everybody in a small space on the boat looking at him or something. I mean, it's just so crazy to think that. Why would we call Cito if we have a dead body on the boat? I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? Why would we do the things we did if we know we killed somebody? And then another following up on that is, why aren't we in jail yet? I mean, we're not geniuses. There's no way we could have done a murder. I mean, there's no way we could have covered it up, especially out there with that many people. Go ahead.
I think, especially about the Cito call, I think people, regardless of who it is going to believe what they want to hear. I think half these people, or not half these people, but some of these people you can't convince. Regardless, they're going to believe what they want to believe. If they want to believe that my friends and I had something to do with Nolan dying, then they're going to believe that regardless of what you put out. But you put out, Brandon, that a clip of the boat when Wyatt was on the phone with Cito, and it is boldly clear that Nolan was not on the boat with us. You can literally almost see down to the deck. And as you can see in that picture, everybody is completely casual while Wyatt's on the phone with Cito. Yeah, we were scrambling around trying to get the boat fixed, but the guys were, in the video, you can see me, I'm sitting on the bow. If there was someone dying on the boat, why would everybody just be sitting there waiting to either get towed in, or in the first place, like Jack said, why would Wyatt call Cito? It's crazy. The reason we turned down Coast Guard is, why would we call Coast Guard if Cito could pull us in? But we fixed the boat and we ran into Fort Bayou, and that's it. The Cito call was completely enhanced, and these people just want to believe what they want to hear. And that's exactly what they're doing. So it's just crazy to me that people have tried to twist this and twist the audio. When we came out with the first interview, it debunked half these lies, and now you don't hear about any of it. You don't hear about the pool party because it was on June 27th. You don't hear about anything else that was mentioned. Thousands of lies. And now, the audio comes back, and all of a sudden we can hear Nolan yelling in the background, screaming, we're screaming about how he's dead. That's just a complete lie. And it's another lie to push this narrative that people don't want to turn down. It's insane to me.
Sorry to interrupt. I know you're enjoying this incredible interview. Make sure you hit the like. And I can start here and we'll go all the way down to and with you, Ed. But Morgan, if you had an opportunity to have this projected to everybody in the United States of America, many people who have made statements about you and about what occurred that day, what would you say to them? Like just a 30-second, this is what you would want to convey.
I mean, first I would say that, it's proven in evidence that they're all lies. I think that most of these people are just going to, I say most of these people, a lot of these people that have posted stuff out there, they've just been lies backed by no evidence. And if I had one thing to say to them, I'd say, do your research before you go out saying something that's not true, that could hurt someone. Just do your research. I mean, it's easy. All you have to do is just scroll like they do all day long and find the evidence that's right in front of their face. And I mean, it'll prove its own facts. I could say do the proper research. Sort through all the lies. I mean, and a lot of these stuff, you can just tell straight off the bat it's lies. And for one, it's defaming us. And for two, it makes you look like a dummy. I mean, you're just saying stuff, just pulling it out of who knows where. And you just look like an idiot on your phone, making this TikTok or whatever. Do your research, man. If you can't simply do that, don't get on your phone and start making a video.
It's just kind of concerned me with how people have the time of day to just make up complete lies out of something that they have no evidence of and to post on social media to put other people down. It's insane to me, how just people push this and, want to make this a story that it's absolutely not. I don't know what happened to Nolan. My friends don't know what happened to Nolan. But for people to come around and say, oh, this happened for a fact, and I know this, and there's no telling me otherwise, then that's just stupid. You have no, like, half these people that are saying all these crazy things on the internet, those lies have already been debunked. There's evidence supporting this is a lie. Like, why are you still saying this? These people just have no idea what they're talking about. And it's very clear because a lot of these people just speak without thinking and post stuff without thinking. But at the end of the day, it just looks really stupid on their page and whatever they're posting on. But it's just sad. Like, people really take the time out of their day to post a bunch of BS lies on a bunch of 19 and 20-year-olds who have never done anything to hurt anyone and, loved their friend. Like, I love that man more than anybody. And like, so did all of my friends. And it's absolutely.
You left them on a secluded island, homie. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, do your thing.
You left him on a secluded island. I love my friend. You left him on a secluded island, possibly intoxicated. Allegedly. You didn't do your due diligence as a friend, sir.
Want to come on and push this narrative.
With that being said, also, that's why I feel the town hall is very, very important, because we allow the information that's being received to form the conversation. And they're taking advantage of what we could consider fake news, false narratives. That's all they're doing now. They're taking everything that everybody is debating and trying to make it look like, look, you don't even know what's going on. We know the truth. And that's why sticking to the facts are so important, because they're going to always find a way to manipulate it and use it again. That's power tactics. I'm going to take everything that you debunked, that y'all said out here for 7 weeks. Y'all debunked it. Now I'm going to come talk about it. Okay, I'm going to sit back another 7 weeks and let you debunk some more. And then I'm going to put myself in every place that you already debunked. Because technically, we don't know who boat it was. Nobody said what boat he was on. They just sent the audio out.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? But now they're showing you this picture that he wasn't on the boat. You see what I mean? Like, and that's why I said, if I was a betting man, I will put the people in front of you that I know it's easier to disassociate from what actually happened. And it's happening right in front of us. And that's why I always try to speak on like facts, because when you're able to keep your emotions away from it, it allows you to see everybody play. You see the play from everyone, not just who you might feel is guilty, but you see the play from everyone. And I really hope that the foam now comes into play, because maybe it'll give us a different picture. Maybe it'll give us some text messages that were sent prior to, or some beef that was going on in the text message thread. It's so much stuff that could already be there that I think now could hold them more accountable. Because right now they're using everything that the world is debunking as their platform.
Mm.
So that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna keep playing it through it, but that's pretty much it there. I do want to get to some of the comments. We got some new people who have came in as well. We appreciate everybody who's here. Hopefully you hit that like button on your way in. If not, please do it. It's free. So we're going to get to some of these comments, man. We appreciate everybody who's coming in tonight. Let's see here. Little Penny was the last one right there.
Penny said, do we have a shepherd or a whole bunch of wolves in sheep's clothing? Penny said, or the smartest thing you can do is call the Coast Guard so you look above suspicion.
Yeah.
D-Raider. Let me know if I said it right. Does anyone else, when you see two different laws for us and them, it pees me off?
How do you feel about that comment?
We know that it allegedly tends to be different. Not for everything, but for some. So yeah, of course. Penny said the call gave you an excuse to be out there after everyone left. Come on, man. The Raider said they kept important parts of the kid from the other medical examiner. They aren't honest. Penny said, why call in CETO if it was such an easy fix? Let's be real. The Raider said, I wish we could see hearts and thoughts. I'd be ugly. That's tough. In Mississippi, allegedly. Purple Groovy said they didn't expect this much pushback. They are being Columboed and matlocked in real time.
Yeah, I agree. And my biggest thing, I'm gonna keep pushing, and this is just Soul's perspective. I'm gonna keep pushing us to work together, even if we don't see things the same. Because I think the Raider had a very good comment up here about this right here. She said, "Does it anger anyone else?" And I think it does anger you, and it does piss you off. But at the same time, the world see us as so divided that they're not even concerned, if that makes sense. I'm probably not putting it in the best terms, but we have to start using our emotions and our I'm gonna create a new word, our pistivity. We have to start using that to now push the narrative that we know is true, right? Like we have to use all that energy to be united, even if we don't agree all the time. We have to, because the world sees division. So they look at it like, oh, okay, well, he don't care. Okay. You know what I mean? For every person who's pissed off, they're okay, it's another half that don't really care. So like it just causes us to be kind of just thrown to the wayside. But like I was mentioning earlier, when you see these four white dudes at the thing at this interview, they're united, right? They're willing to lie for each other if they're lying. You see what I mean? They're willing to sit there and just run whatever play they have to run. And I think we have to learn from the playbook that we're being showed. And I'm assuming it's not the world. It's the good old US. I feel you on that. I feel you on that for sure. Purple Groove said pissed off to the highest pistivity. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I definitely agree, man. I definitely agree. We appreciate you guys. For everyone who just came in, Purple Groovy, the Raider. If y'all would like to come up, you don't have to cam up, but we will give you 2 minutes. If you would like to speak, just let us know. We'll put the link down there. You don't have to just speak in the chat. You could come up. It's free. You don't have to come on camera. We'll give you a few minutes to talk about how you feel about this, because I think it's important to hear everybody's side. I think it's okay for people to be upset, but I think we also need to provide a safe place for those who want to vent or give their thoughts out there. So that's what the town hall is ultimate for. It's kind of like what you would see in your good old neighborhood, man.
Yeah.
Little Penny said, see, no, Penny, go ahead and read it. See, Penny, you think you're slick, boy. You think you're slick. Go ahead, Ray.
Desensitization happens with injustice to the victims as much as the perpetrators.
Yeah. All right, yeah. You're right, perpetrators.
Okay.
You thought you were gonna get me. I see you, Penny. Man. All right, Penny. I got you, big dog. I got you. Yeah. I'm smarter than the average bear, y'all. For those who don't know, Penny know I'll like to get okay, bet. I'm gonna drop the link right now. We got our first town hall voice. Let me drop the link for you, ma'am. Again, everybody make sure you're respectful. Everybody can come up here and give their opinion. So I just put it in the chat, man. We'll wait. I don't know if it's I see 2 people on the picture, so excuse me if I'm saying the wrong gender. Man or ma'am or sir, you are welcome to come up. That is the link in the chat. We'll see you when you get backstage. So yeah, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. But yeah, for those who don't know, Penny tries to give me big words because I have a Louisiana education and he knows it stumps me, but not today. Yeah. Yeah, you almost got rain on the end of that perpetrators, but
Perpetuators. I was trying to say perpetuate. Yeah,
it ain't
perpetrator.
It's perpetrator.
We have trouble. Me and Souls. We have trouble sometimes.
Jeff Riley said, "Want to know you are blessed travel abroad." That's big facts. That's big facts, Jeff. I did some time in multiple locations. Iraq, some in Kuwait. It was literally poor, rich or poor. It was no other thing. She said, I clicked on it. It won't let me log in.
Try if you're on your phone. Yeah, if you're on your phone, try going to the browser like Chrome or
Copy and paste it
Safari.
in.
Yeah, copy and paste it in
Yeah.
and see if it'll let you do it.
Yeah, try to copy and paste it, Dorita. We got you. Even if you come up, we will start the next segment. When you come up, we'll let you get your time. No worries at all.
Definitely.
We in no rush tonight. So we're gonna move on to hold on, who's that? She said okay. Okay. Yeah. Whenever you come up, we'll see you. So no problem. So we're gonna move on to town hall number 4. So this is gonna be coming from Chris Como on Crime Time. He is going to share the 2 lawyers that are speaking on behalf of one is speaking on behalf of Bart, and the other one is the one we've seen already that's speaking on the behalf of the 3 boys, Warren, Jackson, and I forgot the other boy name already that was up there. Morgan, okay. So
Maybe.
we're gonna play. What is it?
I said maybe.
Okay.
Maybe it might be Morgan, I think.
Yeah, not really important. So let's see here. Chris Como here. So I think I got it.
With respect to what I've been reporting. So here are co-counsel for.
Let me start it back. So.
But that's not enough for a lot of people. That sweetened audio, other suggestions, just animus has put these 3 boys and a few others in a bad situation. So why isn't it fair to talk about their bad situation? Because they are put in competition with what happened to Nolan Wells and his family that way. That's what I don't want to be a part of right now. Because I don't think that's fair to them to say, hey, this has been really hard on them. There are too many people who I would want to move the needle with who will just say, oh, poor them. Nolan Wells is dead. His parents lost their son, and this was a good kid. Everybody says this was a good kid. He had potential, and he's gone. And oh, they have to listen to bad things online. Oh, poor them. I don't want to add to that. So even though there's opportunity in that, right? They're going to get clicks. You're going to hear new details of how they're living and what's going on with them. But I'm taking a pass on that because I don't think it helps fairness in this situation. Not yet. And look, I've seen where this story is heading and how it's being handled. And after you hear the interview with these 2 gentlemen, you're going to hear new information on this and new understandings of why they believe what they believe about their clients. And then afterwards, I want to tell you something about some speculation that's going on about this case with respect to what I've been reporting. So here are co-counsel for the 3 boys I mentioned. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. First, I already introduced the audience to who you're representing and why, and there are a lot of ugly allegations flying around in this case. Some of that is because of the overlays of race and intrigue in Mississippi. Some of it is because of the vacuum of the unknown, frankly, in the true crime space. But I want to hear from both of you before I get your latest accounting of where things stand, why you believe representation is necessary. Mr. Cox, I'll start with you.
Well, representation is necessary for these boys simply because they've been lied to, or they've been lied upon. And these lies are a little bit more than just your average everyday white lies. These lies are harmful, and they've hurt these boys who have nothing to do with the death of Nolan Wells. That's the issue. Plain and simple.
When you say they've been hurt, they've been injured, Counsel Palcic, what does that mean to you, and what are the intentions of the boys at this point?
Well, number one, I can say our intention is to file defamation suits. We've already identified multiple individuals who defamed these fine young men, Warren, Morgan, and Jax. Obviously, I cannot disclose their names at the moment, but I can tell you this: we've identified multiple individuals. We've already put it out there. If you have defamed them, if you've lied about them, if you've hurt them, we've already said you should apologize and retract now, or else you're going to be hauled into court. There's a lot of stuff out there. There are a lot of folks who have accused these fine young men, these good Ocean Springs people, of committing crimes. Being associated with a murder, covering up a murder, destroying evidence, you name it, they've done it.
So one step down the road, or pick a metaphor, into the weeds for the non-legal people. You have 2 different categories of defamation. You have per se and per quad. Per se is there's certain categories where if we can prove you said it, the damage is assumed. One of those is the moral compunction of having been involved in a violent crime. Now, an exception to that, which doesn't make it okay to defame, but it changes the standard, is if someone is assumed to be a public figure for the purpose of this, that this is now an open and notorious case, and therefore they are public people, and therefore the standard would have to be higher, known as reckless disregard, which means you knew what you were saying wasn't true. It's not just an opinion. It just could be true. You know it's not true, and you said it anyway. Yes. Counsel Cox, which standard do you think applies and why?
Well, here in Mississippi, I slander per se, excuse me, would apply. These boys have been accused of infamous crimes, and what more infamous and how much more infamous can you get than murder? I can't think of a more infamous crime, to be quite frank with you. And I think slander per se is the one that applies here. These three women are not public figures. They never claimed to be public figures. They were thrust into this simply because, and only because, a group of, I would say, ill-intentioned people on the internet have decided and labeled them as murderers, as killers. The worst thing that you can be labeled or called. And so that's the way I look at this. It's plain and simple. It's cut and dry. These boys are not public figures, have never claimed to be. And they're only in this now because people are calling them horrible names, horrible things. They're getting death threats online. They're being confronted in public. Their lives are upended. And the only thing they've ever done was try to help. These boys are innocent, Chris.
Now, when you're talking about people who may have defamed your clients, Counsel Paltzig, you are not talking about the Wells family. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We are not planning any legal action against the Wells family, obviously.
There is intrigue. Speaking to other counsel who is representing someone else who was involved and absolutely has been dragged into it, and there have been all kinds of suggestions. And there's this alleged audio tape that's been sweetened that has an account that is not backed up by any witnesses, to my understanding. The question is, what do you understand at this time to be the best reckoning of the investigators of what happened?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because I can't answer it, but I can answer it this way. We've been very consistent all along. We do not know how Nolan Wells died. And our side, we have refrained very carefully from speculating, guessing. We're not going to do that. But what we do know is this. We know that Warren, Morgan, and Jax had nothing whatsoever to do with Nolan's tragic death. And that's what we want to emphasize. And if I may just add just one thing on the previous point, and you nailed it. Your recitation of defamation law was largely correct, which is that, look, our three fine young men here, they were private, anonymous individuals minding their own business, living their lives, great people. And then this happened. They did not thrust themselves into this controversy. They are defending themselves, and they were forced to defend themselves. And only after the fact, only after they were accused of committing infamous crimes, did they then take the steps to defend themselves. So they are, by any measure, by any reckoning, they are private individuals, or in a lawsuit, they would be private plaintiffs. And that would be a negligence standard, not actual malice.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Summer's here. If you want to actually feel colostrum, rich within the law, there's obviously an issue for concern. There's a lot of wild stuff out there. Look, I have people accusing me of having some kind of information because I have sources close to the investigation who are doing what sources do, which is yap and saying what they've heard about the autopsy. If they're wrong, then I correct it.
I'm going to skip over because they're going to actually start speaking about the phone portion. So let me get there real quick.
You said a couple of times, we don't want to speculate. Counsel Cox had said, I don't want to speculate. Well, I do want to speculate a little bit on two different fronts. The first one is, well, what is the line? I heard the sweetened audio, and I think it could be real, and that means that the boys were involved. Am I defaming them? No, I'm stating an opinion. What do you believe the line is that has been crossed in your opinion?
Well, I could give you a very clear, bright line. When you
may have. They look guilty. I don't
Defamation.
believe them. You can't just sue them.
May I just say one thing? Look,
Yes.
This part is not the law. This is just my personal view for what it's worth, which is very little. But I am an ardent opponent of censorship. So I just don't believe in.
So it's an interesting situation, and it'll be interesting to see if you litigate what courts say, because this doesn't happen that often. So this is like a new phase of these types of trial by public.
And I'll say one other thing. Look, things are so different now, last 20 years or less, right? You have a story, and basically reputational arsonists can pour accelerant on the situation, and it's just like a dry forest. It's like the tinder just going up in flames. And it's just so different than in the 1970s or 1980s, where you had the nightly news and you had newspapers. It's so different. I really do believe everybody should have an absolute right to freedom of expression. They should also understand, though, that we do have defamation law.
Understood. And sometimes you learn that the hard way, and I look forward to seeing how that plays out. The other point is that not all speculation is the same. My understanding is that people reached out to the families wanting to help and saying, look, I saw him. I know the boys left. I know when they left. I saw Nolan. Nolan was drinking. Nolan wasn't drinking. Nolan was with this girl. Nolan was with this other girl. Counsel Cox, has anything come to the family's attention that is helpful in understanding what may have happened here?
Well, sure. I mean, but again, once we talk about that again comes speculation. We've had people come and tell us verifiable, good and just the way that local council here, Chuck Bordeaux, says that Good Ocean Springs people, we have Good Ocean Springs people come to us and say, look, we saw Nolan at the time after the boys left, and they're good people. They're verifiable. They're good members of our community here. And so we've had those people reach out to us. We've pointed those people to authorities, and the authorities have that information. And we've been doing that for weeks.
Has there been any suggestion to the boys that they're people of interest, that they shouldn't leave, that they want them to report in with their movements?
Not that I know of, Chris, no.
Would you know?
Well, I think I would. If that has been relayed to the board, I certainly would know. But, they have not told me that, and I don't believe that happened. They would have told me.
Well, they know. They know the authorities know that you're counsel, right? So they would have reached out to you if they wanted them to come in or wanted further questioning. Or have they been asked to go before the grand jury?
Not yet.
Would they be interested in doing that?
Well, Chris, we've done everything else. We're going to do and continue to do as much as we can do. Whatever our Jackson County Sheriff's Office asks us to do, we're going to do it, just like we have since July 5th.
Now, question that's a little uncomfortable, but
go ahead, Ray. You muted.
Did you see the other lawyers' eyes move when they asked about the grand jury?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, he really shouldn't have said that type deal.
Yeah. Chris Como, even though he on their side, he does ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, he does.
He said, I'm an older man. I don't know how to make it happen.
Oh,
that sucks. Do you have an email? If you have an email, we can send it to your email. That sucks. Okay.
Oh, man.
I think important. We all here as officers of the court respect the grand jury process. Of course, as a journalist, if I can get information, I'm going to take it. It's one of the weird things about being a lawyer and a journalist, right? But I'm also not a party to the proceeding. They have the initial reports from the autopsy. I understand why it's under seal and they want to keep it quiet because of the grand jury. But do you think there is a balance of equities here that isn't being well served by the secrecy? If the authorities can come out, which they can, and say, look, here's what's in the initial findings of the autopsy, that could go a long way to changing the rate of speculation on this story. Do you think that that is something that should have been considered here?
I don't think that our local DA's office is really worried about online speculation. I think they're worried about doing their job and doing it right. And look, again, I go up against them all the time in my criminal practice. They're good at what they do. Our community is safe because of them. Do we fight like tooth and nail every day? Absolutely. But I can trust them to know that they're going to do what is right. I don't believe that they are worried about online speculation. They're worried about doing a good job. And that's what they've done. I know because we've given them all the evidence that we could ever give them. Every bit of phone logs, Life 360. We've given them location data. We've done phone dumps. We've given them every single thing that we.
So I wanted to stop there first because we talked about this on the first two segments tonight. That they're saying that like the phones and stuff that they had has already been given. So I want to say he's going to pose the question about the Nolan Wells family phone with Nolan's phone, because they're going to talk more about what happens to that and probably why it's not being actually handed over. But again, we don't know if this is true either, right? Because we haven't seen anything, but we also seen this happen in the Carmelo Anthony case where they took everybody's phone, but we didn't hear anything.
Right.
So
could possibly do. I don't think Angel Myers and her team are worried about online speculation. Could it calm some people's speculation? Sure. But again, they're worried about doing their jobs. Me and Ed are worried about doing ours.
I got you.
And also, well,
Go ahead,
I have a few things I wanted to add. I could hold them until the end, but there's just a few things that are really important to remember, if I may.
Go ahead.
So number one, look, this situation reminds me a lot of the Duke lacrosse situation.
I covered it very extensively there and remotely.
And I want y'all to also see this play, right? Because I know a lot of times people get upset when we try to compare cases that some people might not feel have relevancy, but that's what they do. Like they're about to compare the Duke lacrosse case. I don't know if y'all remember this from 2006, where the white Duke lacrosse players were accused of raping the black young lady, and she turned them in. And they're comparing these things because there's something called a valid comparison. Some people probably think it's a false equivalent, but it's not a false equivalent. Valid comparison says you can pick one thing out of that story that compares with the next one, and you can use it as proof or a way to articulate things. And I think a lot of times we think people are using false narratives or false equivalents, but they're not. They're using valid comparisons. And that's something that I learned a lot about, did a lot of studies about. A lot of people are using valid comparisons because all you have to do is take one piece of information that is similar to another thing, and now you can build a credible case around that. So just something to think about.
So and, I and Dan Abrams were fundamental. He was at NBC, I was at ABC. We changed the timeline involving Seligman, which was one of the first big cracks in Nifong's narrative. And it was a very rare occasion where a prosecutor was making up a story.
Yes. And look, we're both a little older. I'm 45 now, so I remember it. A lot of folks are maybe a little young to remember it, but that was the classic rush to judgment. One of the first things I thought of when I became involved in the situation was Duke lacrosse. That's point one. Point two, I just want to say this. When I went to the island, when I was fortunate enough to go to Horn Island, I got to observe the washing machine. All right. I was told, right, this area, right, it's right off the beach. Tyler told me it's called the washing machine. Very
off the beach of Horn Island, which is about 10 miles south of the south coast of Mississippi. They call it the washing machine because it's a lot of water going through a channel between Horn Island and an adjacent island, and it's very turbulent.
Yes. And you're dead on. And I just want to say, as someone who is not from the area, I was literally standing on the beach and just feet away from me, just mere feet away. You see it and you realize those rip currents are going to overpower just about anybody. You see the green water, then you see the blue water where there's a drop off.
And you see what they're doing. They're not just being attorneys and lawyers. They're trying to create a whole new narrative for their people. You mutilate. You see what I mean? Like they're creating a whole, they went away from everything else. He's now telling you how the currents were going. You know what I mean? Like they're again, that unity, that sticking together, we're going to have to start doing it, good or bad or indifferent. So
now listen, as I said, we don't speculate. We don't know if that's what happened to Nolan, but I'm only offering that as an example of something that you can only see when you go out there. That's number two. Number three, I want to emphasize that Warren called the Coast Guard that night on July 4th. That does not sound to me like the activity, the action, the behavior of a guilty man. Calling a federal law enforcement agency to go search the island. That's number three. Number four cannot be emphasized enough. Morgan, Warren, Jax, these were Nolan's best friends. Enough said on that. What else can you say? They are crushed to the cores of their souls. And then lastly, we might as well address this. I just have to say, all this stuff about racism, making it about race, that is all coming from the outside, because that is not the reality on the ground in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. I am here to tell you that is not what this town is about. Ocean Springs, Mississippi is the furthest thing from a racist town. It is the most non-racist town you could imagine. It is a place where all folks, black and white, they live in harmony, they love their neighbors and their friends. So I think it's just horrible how opportunists have come in and tried to divide a town. Tyler's in a better position to talk about than I am, but that's what I saw.
Well, Counsel Cox, you can't blame the Wells family for that, can you?
Oh, just like Ed said, it's the outsiders coming in who have no idea what Ocean Springs is like. We're not blaming the Wells family, absolutely not. But what Ed is saying is correct. There's people that just assume that Ocean Springs is a certain way based on Mississippi's history. Come to Ocean Springs, see it, live it. People here, our neighbors, our friends, our communities, we are not what people think we are. We don't believe in that. We don't subscribe to anything like that. You know, that stuff may have started a long time ago, got heated in Mississippi a long time ago, but Ocean Springs is where it stops.
Here's something we can disagree on. I blame the sheriff's office for a little bit of what motivated this skepticism, because the first word that came out was, even if it was worded the best way they thought they could, which was right now we don't have any evidence of foul play, I still think it was too soon. And I still think that it was triggering for people who are sympathetic to the idea that something else could be at play here. And I think that that was something that worked on the Wells family. And I understand why it did. In fact, even if it were my kid and I was suspicious of what had happened, now the race part doesn't apply, right? Although I'll tell you what, if it was one white kid and 5 black kids who went to like a mostly black party and the white kid didn't come home, there'd be a lot of interest in that story also, by the way. But I don't blame the Wells family for wanting answers and not liking what initially came out of the sheriff's office. Do you see it differently?
Well, again, I'll tell you, I can't speak for any other part of the country. All I can say is my experiences here in Ocean Springs, my experience here in Jackson County. look, the sheriff's department is handling this the way they're supposed to. Okay. Again, I fight with them all the time in court. I can tell you times when they've been wrong about the evidence. I can tell you when they've done things wrong. I can tell you when they've done things I don't like, because I point that out in court all the time. Here and in a lot of other cases, they're doing things the right way. I'm not going to criticize our sheriff John Ledbetter. I'm criticize our DA Angel Myers how they're handling this, because I think they're handling it appropriately. Look, would it have been great if they would have come out and said early on that our boys, or at least in some sort of statement, either way, sure. In an ideal world, that'd be great. But in an ideal world, Nolan life right now, we don't live there. We don't live in that world. So sure, could we criticize Monday morning quarterback it? Sure. But again, they're working with all the evidence. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're working the case appropriately. And that's what's important.
I understand. I'm just saying from your client's perspective, one of the reasons that I'm hinting at this, Counsel Palcic, is if they said, look, we're going to keep investigating. We got other people we have to interview, other things we have to track down, but we got the initial results of the autopsy, and there is water or there isn't water, and there are signs or there aren't signs, and this is the initial finding. It would dampen a lot of the speculation that, of all this craziness that is out there. And I get that there are competing interests, but there are competing interests. The court of public opinion is a real thing.
Very real thing. And I just want to say this. First of all, we have nothing but sympathy for the Wells family, right? So I want to be crystal clear about that. We have nothing but sympathy and condolences for the Wells family, and our heart breaks for them. As far as the investigation goes, look, again, just my personal opinion, I tend to be more comfortable with law enforcement and with investigations when they are doing it quietly and methodically, and when they wait until the end and provide a comprehensive ruling or a comprehensive finding.
So I'm going to stop it there. There's a few more minutes left, but I do want to get to y'all comments, because we appreciate you guys keeping the chat going. So myself and Rain will get to these comments. Let's see here. That was all to D Ryder, and we apologize, D Ryder. We got to get StreamYard to find a better way for the older viewers, so that it make it a little bit easier for y'all to be able to come up.
Yeah.
So we'll put in a complaint. Don't worry, we got you. So here go a little Penny right here.
Penny said they public figures if you're dragging them on Officer Brandon's show. I'm just saying.
And I can't wait to get to Bradford Collective. Please stay in the chat, because I don't know if you're a male or female, but they said some very interesting stuff, and I would definitely want to discuss it.
Penny said, if you protect in privacy, why are you doing the Michael Jackson World Tour?
Facts.
Mm-hmm. Penny said, I'm sorry, but they admit it's their identity in public to a random Joe citizen.
That's true.
Bradford Collective, if the internet keep the pressure up, one of them is going to turn rat. Illuminator, we all know.
Oh, we already put them out there.
Oh yeah. Bradford said, kids today can't handle pressure. That rat can just taste that cheese right now.
I agree with you, Bradford. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm. Be ready said, I'm old man. I've been trying to find you.
Yeah, he said you can
inbox us on Instagram.
Yeah, he said he tried to DM us too. Or can we DM? I know she tried to DM you. It wouldn't let her send it on YouTube.
Yeah. Bradford said, for them to be innocent, their camp can't stop talking, laughing my butt off. Like 50 said, you making it look like we don't do police work. Chill. Purple Groovy said, did he say that they are going to do what the sheriff department tells them?
Yep.
That's what he said. D Raider said, I tried subscribing, couldn't do it. I'm trying to figure out how not to give my email to everyone. We understand. If you can get us on Instagram, get us your Instagram. Get on Instagram and DM us through Instagram. If you have Instagram, then I can send it to you there as well.
Man, Penny said, Instagram, Rain.
Oh, you don't.
I'll mess with you.
Oh, okay. Penny said, or Carmelo's sentence compared to the white model who got 6 years for stabbing her boyfriend.
Yeah, he was speaking about that's why he was trying to compare the cases.
Mm-hmm. Tristan said they working overtime.
Yes, sir. Buzzer beaters and all, Tristan.
Penny said these boys are William Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
Honey with the T, please. Yeah, right. Haha. This is Mississippi. We're speaking of WTF. Tristan said there are no trees and you can see everything. Isn't it safe to say that someone would have seen something? I've been asking that question.
Yeah. And Tristan, what I keep speaking to Rain about is even if someone's seen something, people are I think the person just so terrified. They're waiting for the grand jury because the grand jury could give you so much wiggle room. You know, they can give you all these plea bargains. There's a lot of incentives once the grand jury starts. And I think once the grand jury starts, you'll see more people names come up that they never even talked about. I think you will see all these guys that we're seeing on all these interviews, they're going to already be good to go. And you're going to start hearing about names that no one brought up. And it's going to be because I discussed it on our first town hall. The grand jury protects a lot of stuff. A lot of things become very secretive. People can ask for plea bargains. The grand jury is not a good look.
Honey with the C, please, said Emmett Till. Bradford said, honestly, I do believe if Nolan was white, they still would have tried to pull the same move. Rich people will always try to clean up their mess to avoid penalty for their efforts.
And I thought that was a very unique take, and it's pretty interesting to hear that take from you. I appreciate that take because I haven't heard that from anybody. So I could tell you're someone who kind of thinks outside the box. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Honey said, boycott that itty Mississippi.
Tristan said, just because the town isn't racist doesn't mean that the racial component is off the table.
That's true.
Gail Brown said, yes, you do. Welcome in, Miss Gail. Penny said, bruh, this is not a Sandals Resort commercial. Bradford said, what a lot of people miss is that tow company is a cleaner service. That's why he said we have a membership. That was the wink, wink code. That's a different perspective.
Yeah. Appreciate you being here, bruh.
Penny said, glad someone with fair sense said that if it was reversed, a busload of black kids would be under the jail by now.
Yeah.
Honey with the T, please, said Mississippi is definitely disgusting and racist. This dude is smoking crack. Mel, you've been in here before.
Yeah. She
back.
came initially, I want to say, from the Facebook side, I think.
Yeah, society has become a meme. Now thing. Yep, it's never fast enough. The wheels of justice turn slow. I can agree. Bradford Collective said, well, y'all see how they handle Carmelo. I never said Carmelo was guilty or innocent. But what I do know is they didn't have enough evidence to prosecute him.
Yeah. And we try to, that's what Penny was speaking about, Bradford. We try to compare those two. I know some people didn't see the valid comparison, but it's a lot of comparison in these things. I think if we start really looking at little small micro doses of different parts of trials and cases, you will see a lot of comparisons.
Yeah. Mel said Bradford, his own words convicted him.
Yeah, that's what we spoke about too. I know a lot of you guys are new to myself, Rain, Uncle Plug. Y'all see him in the chat. Like we are the Raw Society Network, and we talked a lot about that. Carmelo, it was a big game of just not being silent at the beginning. That's all. But he is starting back court on the 19th, so y'all look out for the Carmelo Anthony case on the 19th of August. They should be going back. He got a new attorney, a good attorney too, out of the DFW area. So I think you'll at least see a lesser charge, and I think you'll see a lighter sentence, in my opinion.
Tristan said they're playing in our face big time.
Plug laughing, yeah. So he probably laughed at me when I say he ain't got no Instagram. But we're gonna finish off the last few minutes of this lawyer interview, and then again, if anybody who's in the chat would like to come up, we can drop the link again. I know it's probably far up in the chat now, so we can drop the link again. But we definitely want to hear from you guys. You don't have to just write in the chat. You can come on up. We'll give you a couple minutes to say what you would like to say. Again, myself or Rain, we don't push back. We want to hear everybody's opinion. We're not an echo chamber, so.
I feel like when they're dropping findings as breadcrumbs, I feel like that could actually endanger the investigation. And I also feel like it could potentially, there's a risk of misleading the public. That's just my personal philosophy about law enforcement.
Well, let's look at the elephant in the room. And I'll start with you as the defamation guy, and then I'll go to Mr. Cox with his more organic understanding of the community and then how that community will be received. Do you think, with all the speculation and the energy around this, that when the prosecutor comes out, if her conclusion is the grand jury found nothing to indict on, Do you think it will be accepted?
I think that most reasonable people, or all reasonable people who are fair-minded, they will accept it. I always believe that there's going to be a percentage of the population. There are going to just be some people who will never accept it. And I think that the reason they will never accept it is because sometimes they need a Girardian scapegoat. And that's just human nature. Unfortunately, there's a darker side to human nature. And a lot of the things that I've seen in defamation law, a lot of the things that happen are unfortunately fueled by the darker side of human nature, by our worst impulses. And that's why you end up with Girardian scapegoats like Warren, Morgan, and Jax, completely innocent young men, categorically innocent young men who didn't do anything wrong, yet they find themselves on the receiving end of death threats and hatred. Some people will never accept it. And that's and by the way, that's a tragedy on top of an already existing tragedy.
Counsel is referring to a philosophical understanding that goes into psychology by a guy named Gerard, who said that sometimes.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Tristan, for sure. That's what I was saying, even during their first interview with Brandon Tatum. It's definitely the good old boy club. With that being said, they're putting the people in front of us that they feel very confident about. That's all. But with that being said, also, I think the more we listen, the more you're actually learning. Because if you just listen to them, even all these big jargon they're trying to say in front of you and all that, is really just how they're actually battling the case. So they're actually telling you their playbook. They're just acting like they're having a conversation, though. But they're talking their playbook.
For different reasons. Sometimes it's jealousy. Sometimes it's conscientiousness. Sometimes it's collective will, where people will need someone to blame. And it's just in a situation like this, a situation like when a mother kills her children and says it's mental illness. It's too mean. It's too hard. It's too terrible. Someone has to be punished. And that's what he's referring to. Counsel Cox, what is your perspective on this? That they come out after, let's say, 2 months, just to use the figure that you threw out, and they say that we've presented everything, and there are all these big numbers, X hundred interviews, the thousands of pages, and this and that, grand jury, days and days and days. They've considered this. They did not hand up a true bill on anything. What is your concern that the amount of time and the process works against confidence in the finding? That all that time, all that stuff, and nothing, all that time. How could nobody have seen anything? How did it happen then? There's a good chance they can't answer that question.
Well, Chris, the same people who are going to be upset that this takes a long time are the same people who would be upset if the grand jury were to come out tomorrow. You're not going to change a subset of these people's minds. It's just not.
And I want y'all to understand, they're preparing everyone right in front of your face. This was still the same jargon that we heard with Carmelo Anthony. Like, they're preparing you. They're telling you, like, hey, it doesn't matter if the grand jury comes out tomorrow. People still, they're literally putting out little warning signs to say, like, hey, we kind of know what's already going to be the plan. We already kind of know, because y'all can't tell me that these people ain't talking to each other. We all talk on a personal basis outside of just content creation. You can't tell me these lawyers and attorneys and DAs aren't sitting at a coffee shop somewhere or at each other's house in Mississippi or wherever they may live, not chopping it up about the case. Like, you can't tell me that. Like, I worked in a medical field where you're supposed to have HIPAA rules and law. Everybody talking about every patient when they go out to the smoke pit or do whatever they do. Like, they're having these conversations. I just think we need to, and I myself and Rain and Plug asked this question on Monday, is what do we want from this? What does justice look like? We did a show called Unfinished Business where we followed a couple cases that went through all of this, and parents are still seeking justice. We did the Tyree Nichols. We talked about him. We talked about Dante Wright. Tyree Nichols' mama said after all these years, it's been 6 years, she's still fighting for justice. And that's what I feel like we need to start speaking about now, is what does justice look like for Nolan Wells? Because I'm not confident with what I'm seeing in front of us that this is going to come out the way that people want it to come out. That's my opinion. Again, if I was a betting man, and it's just everything they're saying, I'm listening to them while they're speaking. And those little moments of, well, if the grand jury came out tomorrow, people wouldn't be happy anyway. Like, they're telling us something without telling us something.
Yeah.
So,
going to happen. And so the best we can do, knowing that, is to trust the process. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office is doing their job. The DA is doing their job. And look, grand jury is secret. Defense attorneys don't get to go there. It's only the jurists and investigators, witnesses, in the DA's office. We're not going to know what happens inside the room of the grand jury. We're not going to know. We're not going to know what's in the minds of the jurors. But what I can tell you is that even after the no true deal comes out, you're going to have people not accept it. You're going to have people not accept it if it came out tomorrow. It's what it is. And there's not really much more to say about that. But what I can say is I believe that.
Did y'all just hear what he said? He didn't say that in like a posing question or like a let me roll it back a little.
Yeah, run it back, please.
Y'all listen to what he said. He didn't pose that like, just listen to him. He's saying this almost matter of factly.
The Jackson County Sheriff's Office is doing their job. The DA is doing their job. And look, grand jury is secret. Defense attorneys don't get to go there. It's only the jurists and investigators, witnesses, in the DA's office. We're not going to know what happens inside the room of the grand jury. We're not going to know. We're not going to know what's in the minds of the jurors. But what I can tell you is that even after the no true deal comes out, you're going to have people not accept it. You're going to have people not accept it if it came out tomorrow. It's what it is. And there's not really.
Did you hear that?
No true deal.
Much more to say about that. But what I can say, I believe that our community here in Ocean Springs, here in Jackson County, they know the work that's been done. They can see the efforts that law enforcement is putting in. They can see what our boys are going through when they had nothing to do with this. So, what are you going to?
Our boys. That's not your son or none of that. You speaking like they family now. Our boys. We don't even live in Mississippi. I'm telling y'all. We stronger together as a fist. Open hand won't hurt nobody.
Have some that are detractors, sure, but hopefully everybody will see what the truth is in time.
Counsel, help people understand who aren't as familiar with the process as you. What is going on in the grand jury right now, and how does it come to a conclusion?
Well, so because the grand jury is secret, I am not sure whether the grand jury has started convening or not. We're going to know. But evidence is going to be presented to them. They are going to hear from witnesses. If my clients get an invitation to be a witness at grand jury, they're going to go and they're going to speak to the grand jury. If whoever comes witness, whoever is a person that the DA's office wants to talk to the grand jury, they're going to go. But we're not going to know about that until right up before. We're not giving a lot of notice for that.
And then how does it end in your understanding? Like once the prosecutor has presented all the evidence that they have, now what happens?
Well, then the grand jury deliberates. And
what guidance are they given on? Are they given guidance in your jurisdiction? Is there a judge involved? Does the prosecutor? Who offers up potential criminal indictments that they could reach?
Well, I'm not sure I understand your question, but the best explanation I can give is the fact that once the grand jury meets and they deliberate and they decide they do not want to, before they issue a no bill, that no bill will be put on a list of other crimes or other unnatural deaths that are put on a list called a no bill list. And that can be disseminated I believe at the DA's will and pleasure. Now it can become public. A lot of times here in Mississippi, it's hard to get a no bill, but I would expect at least the DA to announce what the results were.
At this point, do you have any, well, you don't know what's going to happen. Will you be surprised if it's a no bill? Would you be surprised if they do hand up indictments?
See that pause? Y'all better pay attention. You don't got to go on YouTube and find that person that say they are expert at body language and your eyes see the same thing that experts say they see. That man just asked for every question Chris Como said less than a second after he asked it. Y'all pay attention now. We're here. I'm just bringing you what I see. That's it. It's just my facts of what I see.
And that can be disseminated I believe at the DA's will and pleasure. Now it can become public. A lot of times here in Mississippi, it's hard to get a no bill, but I would expect at least the DA to announce what the results were.
At this point, do you have any? Well, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. Will you be surprised if it's a no bill? Would you be surprised if they do hand up indictments?
These boys, this case, there is going to be a no bill.
Man, that boy had it. Cat caught his tongue like they be catching rain, trying to say them words, man.
At least with respect to your clients.
100%.
With respect to your clients, you're saying.
Can you run it back a few seconds?
No bill will be put on a list of other crimes or other unnatural deaths that are put on a list called a no bill list. And that can be disseminated at the, I believe, at the DA's will and pleasure. Now, it can become public. A lot of times here in Mississippi, it's hard to get a no bill, but I would expect at least the DA to announce what the results were.
At this point, do you have any? Well, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. Will you be surprised if it's a no bill? Would you be surprised if they do hand up indictments?
These boys, this case, there is going to be a no bill.
At least with respect to your clients.
100%.
With respect to your clients, you're saying.
Absolutely. And I'm only talking about my clients. I have no information about anyone else except for my clients. But as it comes to Jack Spitaler, more Hudson,
and
they're innocent.
And also,
and I believe there's going to be a no
Chris,
bill.
I just want to say that
I'm just gonna stop it there because after that they start fumbling over each other, and
Shout out to Chris Kumar for doing his due diligence with bringing some of that out, because that's just so you're automatically assuming that it's going to be a no bill.
they know they having these talks, and I respect everybody's opinion in the chat. Mr. Is it Miss Donna or whatever? I understand how y'all might feel about this, but they're telling you right now.
That's why I didn't see that part of the conversation.
Like I pay very close attention when I'm watching these videos. I'm like, okay, they're speaking too matter-of-factly now. Y'all were just on Officer Tatum's show speaking in hypotheticals, and then now you add the new person in there and he's speaking, he's going deep. The dude at the top is kind of like, I don't know if we should be trying to talk about this. Like, but I guess we're gonna go there. Like, yeah, and like I don't know if y'all watch Chris Kumo's show, but when he starts off every show, the first thing he says is, I think you're gonna change the way you think about this. You know why? Because it changed my mind. That's his like quote that he goes into. And just so you know.
Ooh.
Telling you, man, we're gonna get through some of these. We're gonna get through these chats, man, tonight. We appreciate you guys. The biggest thing we can ask everybody who's new here is please hit the like button. Please subscribe so that you can get all the town halls and the other content that we bring on the Raw Society Network. We also are on the Facebook side of things, man. Over there, doing a great job over there. Appreciate Soft Rain for all her behind the scenes work there. But if y'all can definitely hit that like button, it means a lot. We're going to get to all these comments, man, and then we're going to close it out for you guys, okay? Let's see here.
The Raider says, this reminds me Mississippi burning.
Oh, shoot. Hold on, Rain. I done came.
You too far down?
I done came further. There you go.
Okay. Penny said, if it comes back, no one gets convicted, there will be a Ferguson.
Don't say that, Penny.
Tristan said, if the investigation is not over, how can he say that these boys are innocent?
You just heard it, Tristan. They were leading up to it.
Penny said, too many emotions.
Yeah.
D-Rated said, I like your show. We appreciate you being
here.
Thank
you so much, D-Rated. Thank you. We try to get here at least once a week for this town hall. And if anything breaks out, we'll try to get here more than once. Rain, a busy lady. So if I can get her, we can get on here.
D-Rated said, first time I've ever wanted to participate. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
D-Rated said, you see, I'm trying to do this with conviction.
Yes. We appreciate you too. We're going to figure it out for you next time. We'll be back.
Donna George, welcome in. They are having those conversations because as of now, she said, who do you think should be charged and charged with?
There's not enough evidence right now to charge anyone.
Yeah.
We're not here to even point. I know you're new to the channel. We haven't pointed the blame at anyone, but we do pick out what seems very obvious, and some things that they're saying is very obvious. can't just roll over the blanket obvious stuff. So
Penny said, I think they saying they slow rolling it and hope emotions die down so we don't riot.
Penny,
they need to prepare though when it comes to
Penny
it.
right though,
Yeah.
and that's what we've been covering on Unfinished Business.
Yeah.
Like nobody's talking about Tyree Nichols no more, and his mom is still seeking justice. Like yeah.
D. Raider said, did they ever send the rest of Nolan to the other med examiner? I haven't heard anything else about
I haven't
that.
heard anything else about the exam, but if we do hear, we'll bring it back on the next town hall for sure.
Penny said, nope, not yet.
Okay.
D. Raider said, we can see too.
Yep. For sure.
Penny said, it's going to be a closed court case.
Yep. You Penny listening. Penny.
You know, they already know no cameras in the courtroom. Nothing can be recorded. But they need to take heed of Carmelo's case too, because Carmelo's judge, didn't he recant that and say he wished he would have had cameras in the courtroom?
That's to make the public feel better.
Okay.
That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Okay. You see what I mean? He said that in my opinion, because okay, I'm gonna do the interview now. We already got the verdict out there. You know what I mean? It was the right thing to say to the public.
D. Raider said this reminds me of Mississippi burning.
I be telling them, D. Raider, everybody need that Matthew McConaughey. You need that white attorney, boy, when you go into these towns.
Donna said they share an attorney and he calls his clients his boys. This is that he is representing. I'm assuming she posing that like a question.
I don't know, and that's what I said. I said Donna is not professional in a high case of this matter.
It is not. Seems too personal. Purple Groovy said we don't know them personally, but we do know them historically.
I agree with that.
Donna said he's an attorney. He should know every answer.
He showed did. He showed did.
Tristan said, y'all see that misdirection? They put the picture on the screen quick.
Tell them, Tristan, they don't understand that chat. We be on it. Welcome in, Mark, too.
Yeah. Welcome in. I'm a white male from North Mississippi. I'm not racist. I have black friends, male and female, in North Mississippi. There's a lot of mixed dating and we're used to it, but we're not killing them.
Okay, Mark.
D. Raider said he knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Penny said they already planning on changing the charges, shaking my head.
Yep.
Mark Choate said, I say it's all about Nolan is messing with a white girl, but that's my opinion.
Hey, Mark, you're a native. You'll know a little bit more, so we appreciate your opinion. We appreciate your opinion. It kind of double talks your first thing, but we're gonna let you ride tonight here in the chat, okay?
D. Raider said he's just trying to MAGA this thing. Tristan said, I want y'all to understand this is a lie. He just said that he only has information on his clients.
Yeah, Alta Como said you're just talking about your clients, right?
Yeah. Mark said, let's show this room some love and send them a sub. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. You make sure you tune in to all of them too, man. We appreciate you, man. It means a lot for us, so appreciate you.
Tristan said, I think this might be a soft launch conclusion to this case.
Yeah. I'm hoping. I don't know if have you guys even heard that have y'all heard that we just covered? Has anybody heard that anywhere else?
I haven't seen it really covered, and I've been trying to keep up with it.
I would tell y'all, truly follow Chris Como. They kind of treating him like the male version of Nancy Gray. He's starting to get in them rooms, and you see him. He doing interviews from his home, from his studio, everywhere. He had dogs walking in the background. So.
Penn said they mobilized the National Guard. You know what it is.
That's crazy.
D. Raider says, so my friend, how can I be a part of your team? I got a lot to say. I'm a veteran also and disabled.
I'll have Rain try to reach out to you and send you our Raw Society Network email, and you can definitely come on up, man. We appreciate you staying tuned with us. I know it's late. I'm not sure what part of the country you're in, but I know some of you guys are already almost at 1 a.m, so we appreciate you guys staying with us. But we'll get your email over if possible.
William Lee, welcome in. He said, trying to keep up with this, but just tuning in. Charges have been filed. What is happening, please?
No charges have been filed yet. William Lee, thank you for coming in with an open mind. No charges have been filed yet. Currently, it's just a lot of he say, she say, a lot of leaked videos, a lot of leaked audio, everything that leaks, somebody saying is compromised and all that stuff. So, oh, he from Atlanta. He in the ATL.
All right, then.
All right. Okay.
Georgia.
Okay. Georgia. Yeah, in the ATL, man. ATL. Y'all got a lot of beef going out there in the ATL right now, D-Rod. D-Rod said they still have segregated proms in Mississippi. Who does that? That's crazy. That's crazy work. If anybody does anybody have anything else? I just want to say thank you to everybody who has tuned in. Rain is going to give us one of the most amazing closers that you have ever heard. She does a great job with the closing and openings of the show. And then we always close it out with a song. I don't know if you guys were here earlier, but we will play a song that's associated to the show tonight. So please tune in to the end. We'll play a track for you guys that we created over here at the Raw Society Network. I can't tell y'all who the producer is, but just know EAI. So make sure y'all follow Soft Rain right here. Soft Rain is there. Uncle Plug is in the chat if y'all haven't seen him. Uncle Plug also has his own channel as well. Uncle Plug, myself, and Rain make up the Raw Society Network. If you go to our pages, you can see every show that we do together. We provide live sports podcasting with myself and Plug. We have this show, Same Soil, Different Route. As you guys stay with us, this show isn't always about what's going on in the crime or what's going on in trending stories. Me and Rain are normally talking about interracial things. We're talking about trending news topics, kind of hit a little bit of everything. But right now, we just find it very important to try to bring all information that's being put out throughout the whole week in one-stop shop, because it's kind of hard trying to watch one story each day about something that, so we try to combine it all. This is Uncle Plug right here, Uncle Plug and Uncle Plug TV as well. So he is part of the Raw Society Network. Rain, are you already ready?
I'm ready.
So Rain is going to close us out. And then, like I said, if you guys stay tuned, we do have a track for you guys at the end of the show.
All right. So before we close out tonight, we want to thank everybody who came in and listened and shared your perspective and stayed engaged in what may be an uncomfortable conversation, because tonight was never about blaming Nolan's family. It was never about defending the young men who were here with him. And it was never about telling you what to believe. It was asking for consistency. If we believe every piece of evidence matters, then every piece of evidence has to matter, no matter where it leads and no matter whose narrative it challenges. Maybe Nolan's phone holds something important. Maybe it doesn't. But the point we raised is simple. Shouldn't investigators have the opportunity to find out? At Same Soil, Different Roots, we're going to continue asking the questions, even when those questions are unpopular, uncomfortable, or don't fit neatly into one side of the conversation, because it should always be about truth over narrative, accountability over allegiance, and evidence before conclusions. So thank y'all to everybody who joined us for Town Hall number 4. If you haven't done so already, whatever channel you're watching from, Souls of Thoughts or the Raw Society Network, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and share this conversation with somebody who may have a different perspective than you. That's how real conversations happen. Different experiences, different perspectives, same soil, different roots. Until next time, stay curious, stay respectful, and keep asking those questions that matter. Good night, y'all.
Why not hand over the phone? Everybody say they want the truth, till the truth starts knocking at the door. Everybody say they want the evidence, so tell me, what are we waiting for? We searched the water, searched the boat, played every interview quote for quote, pointed fingers, called out names. Everybody got somebody they blame. Every timeline under attack, Every statement, run it back. If we turning every stone we own, then somebody tell me, why not the phone? Why not hand over the phone? If we're searching for answers, leave nothing alone. Maybe there's something, maybe there's something, maybe there's not, maybe there's not. But how will we know if it's never unlocked? Don't pick a side, just follow what's known. Truth don't belong to a side of its own. If everything matters when the answers are gone, why not hand over the phone? Concern can't change with the person involved. Same questions apply if we want this solved. Can't demand receipts from everyone else, then put certain evidence back on the shelf. Messages, calls, locations, time could mean nothing to change the timeline. That ain't guilt and that ain't proof. It's one more place to search for truth. We don't convict from what we assume. We don't make a courtroom out of a room, but if we're
deep-rooted conversations, real talk, real roots, real us, souls. Soft rain, no middleman between the truth. I can see it in your eyes, you got it. Pain got your heart moving cautious. Different worlds but the same kind of scars here. Different roads but somehow we still crossed it. Mad cause the world never listened right. Mad cause your truth always turned